Never ever go to a Romani encampment and I don't know, do something that pisses them off. Hey there, everyone. Name's Adam, and I'm sick with COVID.
I'm Impsit, and with us is Tech Priest, and today we'll be
Hello,
reviewing.
yes, I am.
Yeah,
I am planning on emulating the book here and stealing all the jokes.
yeah, we will be reviewing one of the worst and weirdest books that White Wolf ever put out.
The fucked up thing is, I think their take on the Holocaust actually came out the same year, which makes this even more baffling.
It is about,
It's
as the
different
title is,
writers. It's
the
very different
Gypsies. Yeah,
writers.
this is about the Gypsies, and as actually the title says, Gypsies trademark.
Oh god, that meant that they were intending to make maybe more splats of this. That's
I don't know,
oh god, they might have actually intended to.
but
Gypsies, the Copper Thief expansion.
They
this
might. I mean,
is
think about it. The Ravnos are often recruited from among their numbers. Maybe. Here is the copy that you can get. I usually link to where you can get them, but this is such an offensive book that White Wolf personally asked Drive Through RPG to stop selling it. It was an order from on high to stop selling it because it is that insensitive.
And remember, this is the group that said that the Nazis were influenced by a fucking vampire in Berlin. Said that the
Not just the
Mexican
Nazis. You forgot that both world wars were caused by this, as well as German reunification.
said that basically the Mexica people were under control by a vampire,
These are also the people that claimed that the Bruja formed the Soviet Union.
and that people have different souls based on the region of the world they were born in.
Oh yeah, once you get out of Europe, your soul's different. Like if you're from Africa, sorry man, you don't become a gangrel, you become a Libon. But yeah, I got cursed with the coof. So let's take a look at why they're able to do this with their magical bullshit, because legitimately it's gonna get bad.
It's gonna get real bad, guys.
I and I,
Like
I want to say the first thing that signifies it's bad is that I feel like this has been written by an Alan Smithy.
it
Uh,
kind of
it
feels like
might be.
that.
Unless Tiuween is an actual name, I mean,
It
Bill
isn't. That's an
Mercado's here, so
alias. That's a user alias.
no, wait, Art Alan Smith. This may be an Alan Smithy.
This is an Alan Smithy. Oh my God, I didn't realize.
That's amazing.
When the book is so bad that even your artist is like, nah, man, I don't want to be associated with this shit. I don't want to copy gypsy curses.
No, I think all of them are aliases.
Oh
I'm
God.
actually curious. Is it possible that every person on this crew list, is this the only time they appear? Are these all nom de plumes just for this book?
No, this is an actual person.
From the White Wolf game studio. I have never
Tiuween
written a solemn word from White Wolf before, but this case is worth making an exception for. Robert Bloch, author of Psycho, Mysteries of the Worm, and other seminal. Oh, so this is in honor of Robert Bloch.
and
They
some
wrote this in honor of Robert Bloch.
so the person who wrote this was an actual person. Tiuwin Woodruff had she had written for Vampire,
Wait, that's
Werewolf,
not an
Mage.
alias. That's not a fake name.
That's not an alias. She was part of designs for Battletech, Netrunner, Magic the Gathering 7th Edition, the Pokemon trading card game.
Oh my god,
Uh,
really?
I do have to highlight was because she did die last year, August 28th,
Oh.
Oh,
2023 of a cardiac arrest.
wow. What a career, though, when you consider that work going from working on this book to like that, you know? Or is
Maybe
this in the
this
tail
was.
end of the career?
No, because
Mid.
97, it can't be the end. Because if she worked on like Magic 7th in the Pokemon card game, that meant that like she had to go up from there. At least that's my thinking.
She did Van Richten's books for Advanced D&D.
Wow. Okay, so she's got like an actual pedigree. Oh wait. Oh fuck.
Maybe this was
Oh
a Gamma
shit.
World 7th edition.
No. Here's the thing. If you're wondering why that rings suddenly like alarm bells in my head for Van Richten's book for second edition, is Van Richten's book for second edition is
Oh,
why
that's what
everybody said that they
introduces the
were.
fucking Vistani. God damn it.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's the one that made
Oh.
the really offensive version of Astani that they didn't want
Oh
to continue
no.
using.
Is she
Oh,
European?
I don't know.
Is she from Europe?
American.
Europeans calling Americans
American.
racist on one hand, and then the second
No,
you
no,
hear
this we
Europeans
can't
talk
blame
about
it on across
gypsies.
the pond. This is an American born.
Oh my god.
What I can only say is I feel like at this time, late 90s, early 21st century or 2000s, there was a thing about the gypsies.
Well,
Like
yeah,
they were just romanticized in like
Well, yeah,
popular
they're
culture.
it's
a
not
little
really
bit of that, a little
romanticized.
bit
They're
of
used in
used in
pop
horror.
culture as like pop culture horror and like a few movies. I remember Big sort of has a gypsy curse associated with it. You know, the movie where you get what's his name?
There's Big, and then there's the
Tom
Stephen King
Hanks.
story, Thinner.
Yep.
Thinner. And then this is also around the time period of there's another one. Uh, it's actually during this time period. There was a werewolf movie that involves a gypsy curse too. That
Hmm.
was made around this time.
So the only thing I think of is just that this is the result of the fact that it's early nine or late 90s, so they have the internet, but still not as comprehensive, still not
I'm
as
gonna have to
connected.
disagree because of the Ebony Kingdoms book. I think that what happened here was that the writer, she has a good pedigree until you give her Romani.
That might
There is
be.
either personal biases at work here, or there is like I have only found the only research material I have was written in 1945 to justify why we sent them to the camps.
I
I'm thinking more along the lines of
since the writer is dead, I don't want to shit on her too much, but
my thinking is maybe she because you got to keep in mind that White Wolf was full of people who had weird beliefs like Phil. She might have actually
Yeah,
believed that the Romani had powers. Like this is her
I
genuinely
don't
going.
know. Yeah,
It might be.
we don't know.
but
The
but let
My
us
personal
let us
favorite
continue.
though with that is I just have this idea of what was that fucking god damn it. I had this joke in mind and I just lost it. Fuck.
It happens.
Oh, that's it. It's like learning about the Armenians from that book about the Turkish wrote about them. That's the feeling I get here.
I
Or
you
or
you,
or,
you
You
know
or,
know,
you're
or actually
saying
no,
that.
it is like the when I think it's like some Chinese read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion and thought,
The
wow,
Japanese read
that was the
that.
Japanese, and thought, wow, the Jews are really badass. They could take over the entire world and control everything.
We need to get more of them in our country.
There was actually a belief in the 19th century that the Japanese were the
These
lost
were the lost
tribes.
tribe of Israel. Yes. That's one of my favorite like schizo history things.
Uh,
The But it does lead to the very interesting thing about in the 1930s that like the Japanese were genuinely trying to get all the Jews in Europe that they could to move to Japan to control the financial markets for their benefit. It's insane.
Well, it reminds me of the Dominican Republic actually brought them in because the dictator of the country wanted to make the country more white.
yeah, the Dominican
And hey, these
Republic.
people are from Europe.
Yeah, Trujillo was a weirdo.
Oh god,
But
that's
moving
But
away
yeah,
from
introduction. People, even
dictators.
today, 10 million years later, will say that the gypsies know everything. And it's true. They lived well in those days, and we live even better. Vampires stalk in the living shadows of their undying world of politics and pain. The werewolves, known as Guru, battle desperately and perhaps hopelessly to save the world they call Gaia. The mages, and Fairy too, work to shape the world for their own devices. But not the Ram, not the gypsies. Those of the blood of Diana know their place in the world of darkness. They recognize the
that
plotting and battles behind the masquerade of the vampires, the werewolf's veil, the mage's intrigues, the underworld of the wraiths, and even the fairies' hills whisper. Knowledge is both gift and curse to the Rom, forever isolated from other humans by their blood and ways. The Rom await with curiosity in their role in the upcoming convergence. Since the first
On
gypsy has walked the earth, individual
this
Romani
is
have played critical roles at all at important points in history.
this is the feeling I get out of this book right away.
I I love the first two paragraphs are just so amazing that you have to read them.
I
What do we know about these people that came from India around the early medieval period, migrating up
They
the
just
Silk
fucking
Road?
migrated. Yeah, just fucking migrated because fuck that shit. India's a Thunderdome. We don't want to be in that shit.
What do we know about them? Oh yeah, they're magical. And, like, it's a bloodline and curse. Does that mean that the Irish travelers are also like a bloodline and curse of the Romani?
I don't know. They're just a bunch of people that decided fuck staying in one place. We're moving.
What about people who own houseboats? Are they also part of a cursed bloodline?
The idea of a bunch of white trash cursed bloodlines that live on like houseboats along like the Mississippi Bayou and all that shit is genuinely intriguing, but I think it would just turn into like fucking deep one cults
Ooh,
almost immediately.
ooh, actually, that could have been a great book. I would call it Traveler the Wandering. And you have a bunch of non-sedentary like you have Mongolian like a Mongolian magic then you have the
Oh,
Romani, an Irish
Oh,
traveler,
you
southern
could have
sorry,
houseboat guy.
yeah.
sorry. All I remember when you say that is like the one picture of like, can you tell the Bulgarian from any of us? And it's just a bunch of white people and a fucking horse archer. No, you can't tell the difference between a Bulgarian and the rest of us. It's just the fucking that's the
So
fucking image I'm getting in my head.
so the book here, it's written for you to play as human gypsy characters.
You know,
May I,
as
rem-
opposed to
may
vampire
I want to
ones.
remind people, the gypsies or the Romani as they are called are an actual human ethnic group.
Yes, they are. And funnily enough, in the Americas, they were treated fine and we had no trouble with them. It's only in Europe that they really have the issues.
Well, I
I
believe.
mean, to be honest, though, that's a lot of it's like, you know how fucking open and vast the US is?
Yeah?
Like, they can just do their thing and not really step on anyone's toes.
Yeah. But this also has abilities for playing as the Ravnos kindred or the Silent Strider Garu.
And if you're
Because
wondering,
it turns out the gypsy is connected to both vampire and werewolf.
I
uh,
thought the Silent Striders were Egyptian. I thought that was their whole fucking thing, was that
they
like, oh
were.
no, we're
They were, but the writer didn't know this.
oh my god.
So
Are you
here's the
trying to say
thing.
that the gypsies are from Egypt at this point? Because if that's the conspiracy we're going,
That's where they got the name gypsy.
okay,
Because again, the term is Romani. They are the Romani people.
right. Which is weird when you consider that they're nowhere near from Rome, but you
Well,
know.
it's connected to. Well, they're not Roman. The language, I believe, like Rom, is a word in their language, and that's where they're getting it from.
But yeah, the theme of World of Darkness Gypsies is the intimacy of the outsider. Gypsies are castaways, social outcasts in the world of darkness. They are distrusted, hated, and even persecuted by the other inhabitants of the world. Most folk would
And in this
probably
book, you
just
will learn
prefer the.
exactly. Sorry. And in this book, you will learn exactly why that is the case and why they are 100% correct to do so.
Oh yeah, this book gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is this more offensive than pimp the backhanding? That actually sounds entertaining though, as like a shit
Pimp the
post.
backhanding. It sounds like the kind of game where it's just like,
I'm pretty sure that's just Black Dynamite. The setting.
yeah, like just Black Dynamite the setting. Like at that point, it's like there's no offense. You can't be any more offensive. It's so fucking over the top. You know.
So uh, I do like
Help
here
preserve their
much of
culture.
wait. Through the Mirror Darkly, just the Romani inhabiting the world of darkness bear a resemblance to the gypsies of our world, but they are a distinct breed. Why the fuck use that language? Secondly, much of the persecution inflicted upon them is the same as that inflicted upon the gypsies of our world. Similarly, the Romani words and general philosophy on life found within this book echoes the philosophies and language of our world gypsies.
Oh, I think the theory that she might have been actually racist against, we might be dealing with an anti-Zygonist.
I-
She might have actually been a real life anti-Zygonist. And yes, that is the
Is
term
that
for
the
people
is
who hate
that
the
the
Romani.
term?
Yes, that is.
God damn, because
We
that just
might.
sounds like you're against somebody who hates Russians. I don't know.
What I do also like is they'll call the ones in the world of darkness Romani, but they'll use the word gypsy to refer to the actual people.
I love the part where they spell Romani wrong.
Well, no. I believe that is actually correct
No, it
because
isn't.
the Romani.
No, it is
Ro-
not.
I don't. I mean,
No, this is like racist old man spelling
I
of it.
This is
'cause
amazing.
I'm
It's
not
like
that.
calling them the Mohammedans, basically. Like, ah, yes,
I'm
the
not. Yeah.
Mohammedans of the Middle East.
This would be like if in Kindred of the East they just called all of them in the East Chinamen. It's the same energy of Chinaman.
But
It's all like, it's or like kindred of the everything is, ah, yes, the strange Negro kindred of the South. Like, that's the sort of fucking shit we're getting into here. Like, what the fuck?
This is
the realm of
contemporary. This
okay,
is
the
this has the
realm
same
of
energy
yeah,
of like H.P. Lovecraft, like from that time period
yeah.
of the 20s.
The
By
realm
God's
of our world.
25% Welsh?
Hold on. The realm of our world do not have the advantage of knowing that they are a race protected by fate, as do the gypsies in the world of darkness. Instead, they face the daunting
Wait,
task of keeping the remnants of their way of life intact in the face of increasing efforts by hostile or concerned governments who refuse the gypsies' entrance into their countries or place them in ghettoized communities resembling prisons, or attempting to assimilate them into their culture for their own girl. There
So
is
good.
very little. There is very little certain about the future of the gypsies in our world. However, despite all the hardships and persecution, the gypsies have always retained a sparkling sense of humor, of balance, of life. It takes a courageous and free thinking people to walk their own path, to take the road less traveled, and the gypsies have done just that.
this has some
I'm not
weird.
sure if this is racist or not now.
I think
It's
it's
like,
racist in the sense that she has no clue.
Like,
Like it has the same energy of like a 1910s German officer who hates the Jews but is obsessed with Islam because of their stationing in Turkey.
I know, like,
Like where they don't understand the Mahometan religion, but they like wear the fucking fez.
like, do we need to like play the like to get up the big spin the wheel of is it racist? Like,
Oh,
well,
don't worry,
we could
we'll
look at the
find out.
bibliography, um, which mostly appears to be folklore.
Of course it is.
okay, okay, understandable. This is about
Why are they
magical
repeatedly
gypsies.
calling the real Romani gypsies? Well, you see, in America, no one gave a shit about calling them Romani until like literally 2 years ago.
Although apparently they solidified on that term Romani in like the 70s.
They did, but no one gave a shit until like 2010s. Because ignorance.
Yeah.
It's
Romani
also because why would
lexicon.
we care about what they call themselves?
As I
Yeah,
say, there is
especially
no
in Europe.
official written version of Romani, and I'm just gonna check if that's.
I would not be
There is a
shocked.
spelling of it, but it is not the common one.
And you know what? That probably explains why Romani is spelled with an I and a Y in other cases. Because if it's all based on sound,
I
then
think it's just a case of ignorance.
Yeah, this is such a hard call.
there's just a variety. I think it is. It's a macro language. There's just so many speakers of it that, well,
Well,
different
no,
speakers of
it's
it.
because when they disperse throughout, there's actually several dialects and local languages actually. Because when you wander around, you
No
kind of
language, yeah, no language remains isolated for forever.
like to give you an idea. If you ever try to talk to a Maghrebi person who speaks Arabic, try to compare that to like a Saudi. It's actually different to the point where they struggle to understand each other. And the same
Ah,
applies
so
to the
like trying to
Romani.
talk to somebody from from northern England if you're an American.
Yeah, try
Like,
to understand it,
what the
Jordy.
fuck are
Good
you
luck.
talking about? Good luck.
Oh, actually, I do remember when I first heard British English, I thought it was an entirely different language. It's going so fast. I just
I'm gonna take it off. Top of the morning. Wait, 7 bong.
But yeah, here's a bunch of terms that are you know, here you go, just a bunch of them.
But let's start with the history then of the Rome. And to begin, we start with a quote from Revelations. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life.
You know, I got no comment.
Let's see.
So are they
We are
legit?
an ancient people, and we have many, many clans. Folk has traveled the world. We witnessed the rise and fall of innumerable civilizations, great and small, yet we have always remained apart.
Oh god, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. So, the
So
main.
by the way, if you're wondering, gaje, that might actually be a racial slur that they use.
Oh no.
Oh yes, they're calling us crackers.
Oh yeah, it's basically the equivalent of goyim.
I don't even know if Golem's a slur. I think that is
It
just the
can
Goyim's
be.
just
term.
a, it can be a slur, but it's more like just a term for they're just not us.
Which is interesting, they both start with a G sound.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe there's some weird gypsy Jewish conspiracy that we have going on in the world of darkness. Fuck if I know.
Well, I did think when I did hear we have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations and we have reigned apart, I did feel like is that the
Is this
Jews?
the is this the Protocols of the Elders of Zion Romani edition?
It might be. Uh,
So,
they use the word Romani. I could see them trying to use gypsy as a term for the fantastic version, as they did enough research to know about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Squirrel Killer, but I really feel like the writer just kind of alternates between the two.
that's the problem. Like if you're going like, okay, these are the real world people, we'll call them their proper name, but the Romani. That makes some sense, right? And then you're going with like these are the fucking like the weird World of Darkness ones. They're the gypsies because it's we're playing with the stereotype, we're playing with
which you
the
know what?
the
Yeah, that
idea.
I think that would be fine.
It
But
would arguably be fine because you're basically saying like, no, no, here's the real people, and then this is not the real people at all. You're making a very separate distinction, and they don't really do that in this
Or if
book.
they are part of the people, they're separated because of their destiny, sort of thing, where
yeah,
they're like a subclade within the Romani,
but
like
so
outcast in a way even more than the others.
the beginning though of the Romani or Gypsies is uh, Diana, a woman of surpassing beauty, both spiritual and physical. She lived in one of the first cities ever built, a grand place of shining buildings and laughing people.
Oh no.
Okay,
One
we're
night,
going with
she
fan
met
fiction.
she met a tall man with eyes as bright as diamonds and a mind to match. They became the fastest friends and more. Although he could have been with any woman in the
He
city,
fucked Cain.
nope. Dracian is the name.
He fucked Cain.
Nope, nope, nope.
You're saying that, but I think that is
So,
I think that is a name Keen actually used for a while.
oh, on the morning of their wedding, Diana's only brother confronted her, claiming he did not trust the handsome groom who had so easily bought her from the family. Smiling, Dana folded her younger brother, Sarath, into her arms and held the boy who was still shy of his full growth. Ashamed of his tears and uncountably angry, he backed away from his sister. Heated words followed as he pleaded with Dana to remain at home. She asked her brother to be reasonable and to accept her love for Dracian. Um, Realizing Dana would not be moved, Sarath cried out that he could not remain in the house of his parents or even in the city itself unless it was with his sister. She then said to live with us, but such a look of fear and disgust swept over Sarath's features that she had to look away. And then he was gone. Despite that strange outburst, the ceremony of union went on. Racine took Dana to his home, a palatial manor of carved stone, um, and their bedchamber. Dracian began whispering secrets into her ear. She learned much from Dracian, um, mostly that he died and was reborn.
Told you it was fucking Kane.
It's
For
fucking
he
Kane.
was
I
one
told
of
you.
the Shimulo, the vampires. Some few who
Oh
had
god, so the
resided in the
Gypsies
city.
came from the first city. It's either Kane or one of the second gens. This is awful.
Yes, in
Yeah,
the ancient times, vampires and mortals lived together in peace,
What?
unlike in the present day. Having learned of her beloved's nature, she willingly allowed Racine to drink her blood, but she never drank any of his, no matter how
What?
many times he offered. Smart woman.
Yeah, but still. What?
He also taught her that werewolves, fairies, ghosts exist, spoke to her of magic and
look,
science.
look. I guess you can say like fucking just this is their excuse for why they all tie into everything, and
It's
it's a
So
fucking
is it a
terrible
horrible.
one.
how does it rank compared to what they did for Beast?
Uh
Beast, at the very least, is so fucking bullshit that I'm just not even mad. I'm just like, that's such
the
bullshit. It doesn't really
Chronicles of
matter.
Darkness are a toolkit, so with Beast
I
you
can
can
just
integrate
toss
them easier.
beasts into a wood chipper.
Or you can integrate them casually just as a primordial horror that came about from humanity's fears or something.
Yeah,
You could do
So
that.
that they
This
happen to mimic other monsters is because of our subconscious fear of other monsters. There you go.
this is fan fiction. This is
yeah.
terrible fan fiction.
So what? Though one of Drayson's experiments, what he did was to make a tree, the most beautiful, most perfect tree ever created. Uh, though it was a small wizen tree with gnarled branches, it had delicate, feathery leaves the color of sea foam, shot through with golden veins. Bark was rough, but it gave impression of transparency and delicacy. It was full of life and knowledge,
You know, the best
and
thing about this is I bet this has nothing to do with actual Romani traditions at all.
I am
and
100% sure it is not.
This is terrible.
and it apparently had a single golden fruit.
Oh no, it's combining Cain with the knowledge of the fucking Garden of Eden.
She went for the fruit, but Racine caught her and said, not to eat of the tree of knowledge. Um, Basically because he was going to use that to achieve Golconda.
Is there a reason why we're incorporating the story of the Garden of Eden in this piece of shit?
I don't know. Metaplot.
This is horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
We haven't even gotten to the
We
racism yet.
we haven't even got to the racism
Like the
yet, and we're
actual
still fucking.
racism. Like this is
So
just intolerant. This is just ignorant as fuck so far.
Yeah,
so what happened
the
though? Uh, so on that, wondrous news of that, hey, he could not have to feed from her blood. As dawn came about, there was sounds of struggle. Um, that let's see. The door burst open. Um, uh, Watching in horror fascination, Dana saw cracks to form in the door. At that moment, the wind shifted ever so slightly, bringing liquid sweet scent of the tree of knowledge into her awareness. Basically, that the house was being raided, and she realized that no one else should possess this, the power of the fruit. She plucked it from the tree and put it in her skirt. Um,
I'm beginning to
and
suspect it's a second gen vampire then,
yep,
because this sounds like the
and fled.
antediluvians trying to kill their progenitors.
Also, because her husband is now sleeping, she can't save him. Um, she kept moving and escaping until she was approached by an animal. Um, she prepared to fight this huge wolf,
Oh
and the
god.
beast.
but she fucked it instead, didn't she?
No, because it changed into a human, and that human was Sarath, her brother. Remember how her brother
Oh,
was being very angry about the
Oh.
werewolf
oh,
or about the vampire? It turns out
Oh.
she's kindred. Or not kindred. Is it kindred?
No.
What's the term for the humans that are related to
ghouls.
werewolves?
Wolf blooded.
Well, the term that you're thinking of New World, the term for the one in Werewolf is kinfolk.
Yeah,
Kinfolk, yeah. They're kinfolk.
That doesn't explain anything, though.
I hate this even more.
Now, Sarth explained that basically in the Ivory City, there was already a war between the vampires and the werewolves,
Oh God.
and Sarth wanted to spare Dana the anguish of either he or Dreesen dying at the hands of the other. Apparently, Sarth had become how he became friends with certain soldiers in the play of Amarat, a powerful vampire. Amarat knew the city would collapse and the Dreesen was near his goal of completion. So Amarat instructed his soldiers to attack at dawn, and so he tried to save her. They then fled the city, met up with their cousins.
How much more of this
Uh,
fan fiction is here? Because I'm getting bored.
or I think we're almost over.
Yeah, we are.
The
Thank fuck.
So she took the fruit. I believe she ate the fruit, but then took the seeds and hid the seeds in a locket. And because of eating the fruit, that turned into that basically created the ROM. And her
If this
children are
is
then tasked with this
actual,
locket to protect these specific seeds.
I kind of hate this even more.
if this is the actual Gypsy folklore for their
It
origins,
isn't. There's no way.
I will fucking kick a rock.
There's no fucking
I will
way.
do the fucking Lego Yoda ketamine. All right. There's no goddamn way.
Just because we should totally look that up. Hey, anyone in chat or one of our other people, look this up because I know for a fact this has to be bullshit.
Let's
Oh,
see.
it's Ravnos. Oh, that's even worse.
That's the Ravnos lore. Really.
Dracian is
God.
the progenitor of the Ravnos. That's even worse.
Oh fuck, that makes too much. Oh my god. All right.
This
All right, that
Nice.
is. So there's your Ravnos connection for people that
Looking on
remember the fucking name of
Wikipedia,
the antediluvians.
motifs in their folklore include bear worship, dragons, creation of the violin, foam maiden. Technically, yes, werewolves. Apparently, vampire pumpkins. This comes
well,
from
the
the
werewolf
Balkans.
thing is because they're from Europe, and that was a common thing in the medieval period.
There is a vampire. It's called a
Well, no
mulo.
shit, because they also hung out in the same area as vampire. This to me is just people not understanding that no shit they would know what werewolves and vampires are. They were in Europe in the medieval period where those legends were formed. What do you fucking expect? That would be like that'd be like, wait, so you're saying that a guy from Yorkshire knows about fucking evil black dogs that haunt graveyards and goblins? No fucking shit. He's British. What do you expect?
So that is that is the story of the gypsies.
I rate this War of the Rohirrim out of 5.
It's a generic plot.
It's a bad fan fiction.
Ah,
I like the image here on page 21 of the PDF or page 20 in the book. I kind of like it. It reminds me of like a cheap bootleg independent comic, and I like it.
yeah.
It's like trying to go for Mike Mignola, but not quite landing it. I like it.
So according to this book, the Romani still practice oral traditions and
They
pretty
do.
much do not write
Yeah.
down much of their stuff, which that doesn't mean that we don't know much of their folklore.
No,
Yeah.
they
I
do.
mean, like
A
that's
lot of our
the thing. They
traditions
do
are.
write down a lot of. They do still write down
They
a lot of
have,
it now,
yeah,
though.
yeah. They've been doing it for a long time.
They can be found all the way throughout the world.
Also, somewhat correct. Yeah.
The blood has been transmitted through many generations from Dana. The blood grants the gypsies unique powers and abilities, but it carries a price.
Oh god.
The fact that they're persecuted. Gaje sense the gypsies' otherness and shy away in distrust and even hatred of the mysterious strangers.
Oh,
Oh,
goody. They have the
congratulations! They're
Promethean.
Prometheans.
Yeah.
They're fucking
So
They're
that's where the
terrible
disquiet came
Prometheans.
from.
Wait, does that mean that? just all Prometheans are Romani?
According to this
Prometheans
book,
are
no.
Romani coded, I guess now? I don't know.
I mean, outsider coded in any sense, but um, their lifestyle. They're traveling people ever since they fled the Ivory City. Over the years, various families formed. Um, they travel from town to town in Vardos.
Yes and
Most,
no. It
yeah,
depends on the
yeah.
community. Quite a few of even
Well,
quite
no,
a
as they
few
say here,
did settle.
yeah, modern gypsies in travel North American caravans consisting of trailer homes, Cadillacs, and
No,
Harleys.
they fucking do. Oh my god. Some do, but not a lot of them don't. In fact,
A lot of them
actually,
just live normal people
They also
lives.
really
they
like the
do.
internet,
I mean, for
apparently.
fuck's sake, in one of the most backwards provinces of the Ottoman Empire, Albania, there were two different types of Romani communities, and they were determined based on if they were sedentary or nomadic.
Um,
It's not uncommon. It is actually quite common.
uh,
The
uh,
tradition of
appar-
moving around has definitely become a lot less known, and a lot of that is due to anti-Ziganism, and also just genuinely being able to commit nomadic movements means you can also commit crime.
yeah, as they say here, governments can't stand a large group of individuals that refuses to be labeled, marked, or categorized. Uh, a gypsy changes her social security number, even if she even has one, as easily as your average American would change a tire. Which means, yes, they're committing identity fraud.
I love how we're. Oh, here we go. Here's the racism.
Though what's funny is, I'm pretty sure that in places like Mongolia, they're completely fine with registering and tracking people who are nomadic.
Majority of the country's nomadic.
'Cause it's just
Uh,
like you're not going to support a large enough
yeah.
population in a sedentary place. You're just
I
going to have
wonder
to
how
move to a couple
surprised.
places during the year.
Sorry, what'd you say?
You're just going to have to move between a couple of places during the year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I,
Most
I
governments also try to force gypsies to keep their children in normal schools, which the gypsies further refuse to do, preferring to educate their children in their own manner.
are you sure that's
I
no? I mean, somewhat, but no. It
They're
depends on the
not
region of the
weird.
world.
They're not weird like uh
They're not like the Irish travelers who are guilty of doing this. Irish travelers
yeah,
are
like
known to do this.
are they conflating that? Like
The,
They
the,
may,
the Romani of North America, at least in the U.S., no. A lot of them go to normal schools. Even the ones that are nomadic do. They just, they'll stay there for a
but
few months, and then
it,
after they finish the year, they move.
yeah, you can tell they're really they're pushing the idea of that there's these wandering
All Romani are
vagabonds.
weird fucking
They're
vagabond
the
criminals.
outsiders. They refuse to settle down by the pressures of modern society.
This is oh god.
Um,
This is racism of the type where you don't even know you're racist.
well, they do now. Speaking of the racism, persecution. We are not racists. We are only against gypsies. Anonymous protester in an anti-gypsy demonstration.
No, I would have had it be
the average European.
no.
Yes, the
I would have actually had it be a member of the Labour Party, United Kingdom, or like some form of socialist saying this.
It's funnier if it's just like your average European citizen.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
uh,
the U.S. is really good at tracking it because hey, how the hell fuck do you think we tracked down the native tribes that were nomadic? Because quite a few of them were and still are,
Because
at
we
least a little
rounded them
bit.
out into camps to do that, really, though.
and hey, guess what? If you're traveling across the interstate, it's now the purview of the U.S. federal government.
Yeah, they finally patched that flaw in the Constitution. It's called the Commerce Clause now.
And that was always there.
Nope.
Yes, but
There was still enough of a
not
gap that you could
recognized.
argue on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now it's basically
yes,
like nope. The Fed goes if it's between states, it's the Fed.
yeah. Wickard v. Filburn it can be a controversial thing, but we're not talking about the law. We're talking
We're
about
not talking about constitutional controversies or
We're
constitutional
we're
law
talking about this.
why are the Romani persecuted? It could be their lifestyle, because their ways seem strange, and this nonconformity can lead to fear or even hatred. They see them as vagabonds, roving gangs out to make a quick buck. Many religious and secular leaders have condemned the Gypsies, ordering them cast out,
Why are you
imprisoned, or
ignoring the
worse.
part that's right after that? While it's true that Romani feels it's perfectly
Right.
reasonable to take from Whitey by the hook or by crook, essentially.
As I was saying, it's like they go, no, you shouldn't be racist towards them, except
Many of
L-
them
l-
find
listen,
other so-called honest. So-called.
listen, yes, the Jews control Hollywood and the banks and everything, but that propaganda is also forced on them.
I'm now envisioning instead of getting the Showa book that they did, Charnel Houses of Europe. Imagine if they made it's like Oy vey, the kvetching.
kvetching the oy vey.
The kvetching.
And it's like, you
No,
see, you
it'd be
don't
like
understand.
just
The Jewish people gained their powers originally by fleecing a mage out of their own ascension over manipulating money.
Moses conned a mage into signing a contract, and because of that, it became law.
They gained three. They
And the
gained
law is
three.
truth.
They gained it in 3 stages. The first was when they stole. Was when they haggled down Cain for destroying everyone in the first city. Abraham haggled Cain down to save two.
No. Wait, no. It was the Jews were responsible during the war between the angels and the demons to stop God from just wiping it all out
By haggling.
because they made a
by
they made
fucking
they
haggling.
haggled with God. Hence why they are also now able to use Kabbalah to be mages. They read from the Torah and are able to cast spells without triggering paradox. But speaking of the Jews, though, during World War II, Hitler ordered the Gypsies murdered along with the Jews.
Yep.
They
That's
say
one
1
that
million.
people tend to forget about.
Yeah, it's about 500,000, and the correct term for their specific is the porajumos, which is close association to the term violation or rape in the Romani language. Actually, no, that's apparently they protest that term. No, the term porajumos means devouring or destruction, which apt.
I think it fits.
That is apt considering Shoah. Well, Holocaust is a burnt offering, and Shoah is
It's kind of fucked up that
dark.
you go like, yeah, the genocide of our people was a burnt offering to God.
Well, no, that's not the term. The term is Shoah. It is. Well, it's not a burnt offering. It's just more like a giant burning.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, holy shit.
Oh, there is a mage faction that's essentially Kabbalistic. It's essentially like the choir.
There.
Oh yeah, the
Hmm.
the, the celestial chorus or choir are a very interesting faction in that they're religious mages,
No,
but not really.
there is no. There is the It's like the Lines of Judah. It's a like sorcerer faction.
Yeah, there's probably that.
I
Yeah, that's the one that was in that fucking. Remember, we had that one with like in Shadows of Mexico with the Chaos Factor
Oh
bit where
Oh
yes,
yeah,
they
we
yeah.
did.
traveled
They
the
got
fucking.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. That's what they were referencing, huh?
yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm
How
now
did this
envisioning though.
book call back to that?
I mean,
Better question. Why the fuck do I remember that?
because it's better than what we're reading right now. Even
because
if it is a
because
complete
pop
non
culture thinks
sequitur.
Kabbalah is magic. So
I mean, the pop culture thinks basically everything is magic.
I'm
Like,
just
I could
yeah.
envisioning
probably
a
bring out
celestial
like
choir that can only meet up if they achieve minyan.
We gotta get
the
10
celestial
players.
choir that can only assemble if they achieve chim.
No. I'm
No
envisioning
minion.
your
Which
player groups. You're trying to set up a congregation, but you need but to achieve minyan, you have to awaken people. But you have to actually pick actual Jewish people and try to convince them not to awaken 3 times. No, you
oh
don't want to wake up. And you got to convince, and they have to agree to this 3 times. Oh man.
that would be funny.
That's terrible, but really funny.
Um. So
It's oh god, the worst part about this is it reminds me of that one fucking Sex in the City episode where she converts to Judaism because she's dating a lawyer and she wants to marry him. And he's like, but I'm Protestant.
oh
Because his name was like Steinberg or something like that. So she assumed because he was Jewish, he was a lawyer, he was also Jewish. I only remember this because it was just tangentially on in a house I was staying at. That particular episode, it just stuck with me for fucking ever. Sorry.
But their unusual racial powers.
And sheer aura of strangeness. So what? They're fucking blanks from Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, don't you know the Romani are so fucking weird. They're slightly darker skinned and they occasionally say things in a language
Oh
that
yeah,
makes no
it
sense.
leads to fear and confusion in the gaje, and people often attempt to destroy what they cannot truly comprehend.
What the
Oh,
fuck?
that's
Yes.
why Hitler was doing that.
Wait,
Just
wait. Is
they
that
were
why
weird.
Hitler was? Not your comment about how you steal and you cheat all the time?
I'm just now envisioning like the confused screaming meme, but it's Hitler and he's like looking at someone going through a bar mitzvah reading from the Torah. Confused screaming at the demon language.
I find it funny because technically the Romani would be closest to the Aryans, and
No, because you
well,
got to understand that the Aryan concept of the
yeah,
Nazis
their
isn't
Aryan
actually
concept is
really
different.
related to anything archaeological or genetic at all. It's so fucking stupid. It's closer to the fucking Hyperboreans because of the influence that the fucking Thule Society had before they decided to purge them all for not being completely down with the program of racial purity.
By the way, nomadic Romani communities in Canada tend to make their money via working courier jobs like Uber Eats. And they're
Oh,
doing pretty well because of the rise in gig economy. I'm
That
not
makes
surprised.
actually a lot of sense.
but so apparently, the Gypsies today first persecution.
Also, we got a question from Rothern. Isn't this world Himmler a Ventru? He is actually a Tremere anti-tribu, a member of
Yes,
House
he's not a
Gortrix.
Ventrue. He is a Tremere anti-tribu, which should tell you something because this is one of the most evil motherfuckers on the planet. And they were looking at Himmler and going, yeah, he'd fit right in.
Yep.
And he's actually like playing a double cross game during the whole thing too. He's like pretending to be an actual Tremere. It's real fucking weird.
So they still highlight the persecution of Gypsies today, being terrorized by skinheads, young Romani being coerced into the junior mafia.
Wait, in Germany, while almost all other groups are allowed into the country, thousands of Romani wait on the edge of starvation to be deported back to Romania. Neo-Nazis in Germany.
No, at that time, yeah, East Germany they had a higher portion of actual like neo-Nazi
No
groups.
shit.
Yeah. I still find the idea that it's like we will return you to your home country. And they just ship them off to Romania.
Banish them to I mean,
because
let's be fair.
trust me,
1997
you will not
Romania.
find anyone. You will not find anyone more anti-Romani than the Romanians.
To give
They
you an
fucking
idea,
hate them.
to give you an idea, Romania is so insanely racist. At least they were so. The Iron Guard, who allied with Hitler, committed so many nasty pogroms. Even the SS went, what the fuck, my guy?
Like, what the fuck?
Was that the
are you guys
Serbian? Was
doing?
that the
The
Serbian? group?
Romanians committed the no.
No,
The Serbians
no.
were bad, but the Romanians committed the most violent form of pogrom and were the most active in purging and active genocide. Like they happily got
And almost
Einsatz
entirely
Gruppen,
against the
essentially.
How-
against the Romani. It's
Oh
How
no,
can you
not
be
just
more-
against the Romani.
wait,
it was
no, no.
also against the Jews. They were very anti-Semitic during this time
How
too.
can you be more violent than rounding up people, having them dig their own graves, shooting them, and then having the next group dig their own graves and shooting them?
Oh, they would lock them in buildings and basically cook them to death and laugh.
So
They would burn them alive, essentially.
fuck,
Yeah.
that was fuck. So the thing I saw in Come and See is real?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Iron Guard were psychotic.
Like, gee.
They were more on.
Yeah.
They were to give you an idea. It disturbed even the Germans.
They're kind of like, we're all for the cleansing of the lesser races
listen,
here,
we don't want- yeah.
George. But we think we're enjoying it a little much, yeah? Meanwhile, George, as he burns down the 5th Romani orphanage today.
Yeah. So apparently
that implies
also.
oh, that's cute. You think they're human. Oh, by the way, here's a disturbing fact. The same group of people have also joined very quickly the communist government that they set up. A lot of the same politicians were also the founders of the communist Romanian government.
Oh yes, because the Romanian government swapped sides in the middle of the war because they saw the way the wind was turning, and they're like, you know what? Fuck this. Do we get Transylvania back? The Soviets say we get Transylvania back. All right, boys, we're switching sides.
Oh no, the
So
Ustasha were disgusting too. It's just I
yeah,
always go to the Romanians
Yeah,
because the Iron Guard were
yeah.
absolutely fucking
the Iron Guard
heinous.
are notorious. Yeah.
So apparently, though, there is a corporation, Magadon Incorporated, which is maybe experimenting on gypsy blood and is kidnapping them.
Is this
Okay.
founded by like a billionaire who's trying to like figure out how to get adrenochrome from them or something?
I don't know.
Just don't question it. Let's just
I'm just gonna move on to then the various
we haven't
families.
even how long are we into this review and we haven't even gotten to like the really hardcore racism yet. We're still at racism
So
light.
yeah, so
Oh
we'll
no,
we'll
don't worry.
continue.
We've only been
They
in here for
have
less than 50 minutes.
yeah, they have the Ravnos, so the Ravnos vampires and maybe those that still contact with their family. The Lupines, the Silent Striders, and their kin. The Ermen, apparently those that are connected close to the Fae. They may have fairy blood in them.
I love how in the effort to
The
make them the capacity and the thing to blend all the world of darkness together, it's so racist.
the Furry Day. These are spiritualists, fortune tellers, lore keepers. Um, they are very likely to know a lot about vampires, werewolves, uh, fairies, ghosts, mummies, and much more.
Okay, so this is someone. This was. I think I know what the writer did. She sat down and watched a lot of movies, going, "Oh wow, yeah, the lady with the crystal ball knows all about the
Yep.
ghosts."
And the
Yeah, I
Surara.
mean,
The Surara are the slayers of the Knife Tribe who want to kill all the vampires. They're the hunters and neo-Nazis. Well, at least that they are forming gangs as violent and intolerant as the neo-Nazis.
why not?
Um, they have their blood concept. They have these seeds of knowledge, which there's like 5 different seeds, and those who are not of the blood get corrupted by them.
So they make you gypsies?
No, no. It's like instead of promoting goodness, it makes you like greedy or selfish
So
or
they
ego,
make you
pride.
CEOs.
Yeah, sociopaths.
Oh, by the way, it is said that if a honky came into contact with one of the seeds, their blood will be too weak and unworthy. Hmm.
Imagine it's this the one spice white people cannot try to enjoy.
Romani,
Uh,
I must try the forbidden apricorn.
the convergence.
No, no, white boy. Our potions are too strong for you.
So apparently,
And then it just
many of
cuts
the
to him turning
oldest.
into the owner of. It turns into Samuel Bankman-Fried before getting arrested for all of the evil fucking scams he did.
No,
Um,
it's the United Healthcare CEO seconds
Yeah.
before he gets shot.
let's see. The Incarnu know about the Gypsies. They know they're
Of
the
course they do.
rightful guardians of the seeds, and believe that when the time is right, the seeds will be used to the advantage of the Incarnu.
I don't know why they think that, but okay.
Um, now the goal of the money is convergence.
By the way, if you're wondering the seeds in particular, just really quickly, there's the seed of earthly awakening, seed of stars, seed of burning tears, brightest waters, and balanced scales. This is all hibbity, and I don't know where she cooked this idea up.
Um, so
We need
apparently,
cool artifacts for
according
our
to the
game about
Gypsies,
gypsies.
the universe is a slumbering giant, and that when she stretches, the very nature of reality shifts as well. However, it takes time for the moves of such a giantess to reach her toes, and the gypsies place Earth upon her littlest left toe. The stars, they say, will align to tell the gypsies of the latest reality shift, so that they will be prepared when the World Mother's latest shrug reaches her toes. This is known
I
as convergence.
This feels like occultist scribbles before they like get arrested for tax evasion and human trafficking.
this reads like the whitest girl you know trying to write something very deep.
This is basically okay, here's our Golconda, our Apocalypse, our Ascension, but for gypsies.
You also see a little bit of the
Which
beginning of the trifecta because they have the generation and then they have the destruction, the devouring, the decay.
Also, there's a point they talk about purity and contamination. Um, Apparently, the purity and superiority of the gypsies' blood may have intrigued as well as enraged Hitler and the SS.
oh, there we go. There we
Yep,
go. All
there
right.
we.
Oh
I'm
Yep.
God.
So there may have been experimentation or use of the blood in dark rituals of certain high-ranking SS officers who were also said to be dark mages.
Okay.
Also the Romani having taboo against serving food that fell on the floor. Hmm. Hmm.
Why?
Don't get
Just
me wrong, there are taboos about sort of things like that, but in my experience, it's a case of you kiss it up to God and you just kind of roll with it, or if it's been on the floor too long, you throw it the fuck away.
As we all know, the well-known 5-second rule is
Yeah.
near law. Actually, yeah, considering World of Darkness with consensus,
Oh no, Rother brings up a good point. Think about it. Think about it. The use of the Romani blood might have been how Himmler became a Tremere
a
anti-tribute.
fucking anti-tribute.
Maybe that's how he became the
Oh.
vampire. He did the sevenfold sacrifice of burning.
No, that's not how it happened. It talks about it in the book. He was approached by a bunch of them before the war ended, and he was abducted out of his jail cell where he faked suicide and lives under a fake name now in Berlin.
as a humble chicken farmer, he finally learned how to do it.
God, no, he's not a humble chicken farmer. He's a fucking Tremere anti-tribute plotting the downfall of the entire Camarilla in the city. Like, the fuck?
But yeah, that's pretty bad.
I'm imagining then he goes to the nightclubs and still wearing that, still looking like Himmler, but in like a '70s outfit.
But as for what the role
70s
of the
Himmler.
Romani are, the true nature of their role in the convergence is a matter of debate. They are curious, and for they also know what will be, will be. The oldest and most popular theory. So they know what will be, but they also don't know.
Yeah.
Pick a fucking point.
They're mysterious.
They have been scattered
So
throughout our families for many years, but when the stars wheel and dance in the sky, so will the seeds come together from across the lands. When the seeds are planted together and watered with 5 drops of Dana's gift, then they will sprout and grow together into the world tree that holds all knowledge. It will be given to us to eat of its fruit and climb among the branches, and the tree will be so great it will be as a highway stretching to our sister, the moon. On that day, the day of convergence, and on that road, the road to the world tree, our actions will decide how the next dance is to be danced.
we will be whole again. Make us whole again.
I think my favorite thing is this is all bullshit being shot. And the best part is, so how does this compare to the AD&D take on the Vistani? Are we getting there? Remember, she wrote that
Uh,
too.
am, would it be wrong for me to say that the Vistani are a closer depiction of gypsies and the folklore of Eastern Europe than
Probably
That
this fucking
because
shit is?
that's
because it's set in a
pathetic.
fantasy setting.
That's pathetic, actually. No,
Like
think about it.
I'm not
The fantasy
Romani. I
setting
can't
is more
speak to
accurate
any of
than the
this
real
shit.
one.
Like I can't speak to any of this origin shit or like the moon sister bullshit, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Like, and I definitely know that their fucking origin story does not have them hoeing it up with a vampire and then their brother being a werewolf. So yeah, no, like the Vistani are coming out more accurate than this fucking book, which is just disgusting and makes me feel rather uncomfortable, quite
By the
frankly.
by the way, Squirrel Killer, it's known as the Giantess because remember that this is White Wolf. Phil also described the Earth to be female.
Oh yeah, female giant guy.
Gaia.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
fucking
that makes sense.
Gaia.
That makes sense.
Earth
Yeah,
Mother.
that makes sense.
It's standard
Yeah,
hibbity.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's standard New
It's
Age
hibbity.
hibbity.
It's hibbity. Okay. It's good hibbity, but it's
Yeah.
well more like
It's
thematic
good
hibbity.
hibbity
But
for werewolf. It's horrible if you're depicting a real ethnicity.
yeah, which is weird because a bunch of furries adopted Werewolf the Apocalypse as their personal headcanon. Anyway,
So they continue on talking about their culture. I did want to pick up on page 37 of the book where they talk about, and this was an actual thing, the Diet of Augsburg changing laws so that Christians could freely kill
No,
gypsies.
no, no. You're skipping racism again. Today's Romani do not feel it is ethical to lie to, cheat, or steal from another Romani. However, it's perfectly appropriate to manipulate and use a honky. After all, if the honky is gullible or slow-witted enough to fall for the Romani's tricks, then the Romani was meant to succeed at their endeavor. Which, by the way, is an actual cultural thing that used to be done among Islam people. The Shiites used to do this to Sunni. It was one of the many reasons the Sunni fucking hated them. It's also something
this
they
is like
tried to stamp out because it made them look
yeah,
fucking bad.
it's the number one survival method for cultures. If you're in a weird space, is like you know what? Fuck everyone else. We stick to our own and nobody else.
This ethical double standard has led to the honkies to misunderstand and even hate the Romani. Look, no, it's not your fault, you're an ignorant white boy. No, no, I have the right to steal $500 from your wallet after tricking you into painting my caravan. God damn.
I'm
I had to, like, you almost skipped that, and that's like one of the examples, man.
Yeah, I did just want to get the part where legally, apparently Christians could kill gypsies.
there's a lot
No,
of
no,
weird
no,
laws
no.
like that.
You're skipping the reasons why it's
I
perfectly legal. Like, an example of
mm,
such an elaborate scheme is the buja, or swindle, in which a Romani woman sets up a fortune-telling store. It doesn't matter whether you have the site or not. You will have no need of it to conduct the scam. They carefully interrogate the honky, who comes to them for help. When she finds a likely, desperate, or gullible idiot, they use a particularly dramatic way to illustrate the horrible bad luck that's plaguing them. Like, you're missing the reasons why it's legal to kill them.
yeah. I guess let's see.
They then ask them to give them a small bill at 10 or 20. They may determine the money is indeed cursed. Though this may seem incredible, there are many honkies that have lost a lot of money to Romani by falling for such schemes. In one scam alone, a Romani can easily pull in over $10,000.
They
That's
findom
just
people.
scams in fucking general.
They findom people.
Many honkies view the word of a Romani as being about as trustworthy as a politician's campaign promises. When
Okay,
dealing with
that's
the
actually kind of
honky,
funny.
this is usually true.
Okay, genuinely kind of funny, but the
Yeah.
still like
But when a Romani gives their word to a fellow Romani, it is inviolate. The same double standard threads throughout their dealings. When interacting with another of the blood, the Romani are honest, trustworthy, and loyal. But when dealing with a honky, no Romani holds their brother to the same standards. Now we can go into why it's legal to kill them.
So
I think
yeah.
you just explained it.
Um. Again, they travel together. But they bring up again. I just want to bring up as a fact that the Diet of Augsburg did change laws. They did have to then rectify it. So okay, you can't drown women and children, because I think it was just allowing people to murder to their heart's content. Um, and again, they keep using the term Holocaust. They should have used Porjamos. But they talk about the touring, the Compania going on tour. Its members are not expected to do anything in particular except survive. Sure, it'd be nice if they learned something along the way, but it's not required. Besides other Rom, it is said that any other Shilmul Mulo of the clan known as Gangrel will watch over any members of a company who are in a vampire's territory. So yeah, they somehow have dealings with the Gangrel.
This has some strong beast energy now that I think about it, because like, and then here's how they connect to this.
And they
And
talk
here's
about
why they're okay, despite the fact that they're the
Yeah.
worst fucking people you'll ever hear of.
I mean,
uh
this is like making a great case for why you should be able to legally kill them.
let's see.
As I said, this book is unironically justifying the racism.
Apparently the blood of the gypsies allowed them to transcend time.
What?
They have different views of time. Once these stories the gypsies like to tell is proof they are favored of fate takes place at the crucifixion. The Roman guards were preparing to nail Christ to the cross, and one gypsy boy, despite this being probably even like 1,000 years before they would be recorded in Europe, um, snuck past the guards and took one of the nails. Um, with the gifts of his kind, he stole one of the nails that was going to be used for Christ. Christ then smiled on him and
Oh my
whispered
god.
the words told him that his people would forever be free of the seventh commandment, "Thou shalt not steal," because of his small
Oh
kindness at using Jesus'
god.
pain.
So
If this is
and I quote back.
I
I have to quote the murder again. When the Diet of Augsburg changed the law so Christians could freely kill Romani, not even needing provocation. And then read that again, and you can kind of say,
Yeah,
wait, no, I think there's provocation here.
I don't know if this is actual Romani folklore.
It
If
isn't.
so,
It
I will.
isn't. There's no way.
Yeah, now there.
this can't be
Now
like
many of them are Christian, which then we
yeah, but
confound
like the
this
idea that we
because that's
stole
not.
Jesus's nails from his cross.
No, no, they didn't
It's
steal from his
like
cross. They stole it before he would have been crucified, thus doing nothing to stop the crucifixion.
Or to even ease his pain, by the way.
Therefore, Jesus freed them of a commandment.
I mean,
wait,
funnily
I
enough,
thought
Jesus
the idea
himself
was
didn't
that they
wash his
stole
hands,
the
so,
nails out of the crucifix.
No,
Like,
no, this is
okay,
before.
I misread that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I was looking at that. I'm like, that's really bizarre.
But by the way, although
But I
this
could
tale is obviously self-serving, the Romani hold it to be one of the many examples of their
obviously
unique role in history.
You know what that
oh
means?
my
Go ask your nearest Romani and say, "Hey,
hey, did you steal
did
the nails from the
did
cross?
Jesus
Like
and do you know how to transcend time?"
This, you can kind of see why Drive-Thru RPG doesn't sell this book anymore.
you were like, oh no, we have gone past casual racism, my brothers. We are in the competitive racism
This
genre
is like if
now.
we were reading Mar Barker's stuff that he wrote outside of Tecumel.
Yeah, this is the Turner
This is
Diaries of
no, not the
RPG.
Turner. This is
Okay, that's
the
racial
Black
holy
Hebrew.
war, but
This is the Black Hebrew Israelites crossed with the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, this is pretty
this is
disgusting.
yeah.
By the way,
We're
Campania and a Chronicle. Many modern Campanii make a practice of stealing vehicles and cruising the countryside. Yeah, you know.
oh my god.
Uh, and let me read that again, just because I think it's fitting. Uh, when the Diet of Augsburg changed the law so Christians could freely kill them, not even needing provocation. We didn't
So
do
Just
we literally we didn't do nothing. We didn't do nothing. They say as
God
they
told us
steal.
we're okay to steal.
this is Paul.
Somehow we're
This is
allowed to violate his sacred commandments,
This makes the
even
Vistani
even though
look like a progressive
yeah.
take on the Romani people.
I know, right? Like the level it's what makes this so funny. It's like, yeah,
I think we might have
yeah,
to
like the
actually read.
Vistani are kind of offensive. Like they're kind of like the
Well, they're offensive in the way an 80s RPG, if they have an equivalent in real life, does. It's
And
like a Warhammer fantasy take, like the
well, yeah, and the Warhammer Fantasy
Strigani.
take.
It's like the
Yeah, they were
Strigani.
the Strigani, the
yeah.
cannibals. Well, no, they're just wanderers. They were the Strigani Ghoul Kings, but that's besides
That's
the point.
besides the point. That's a different thing.
Ranked
That's a different thing.
Racism Romani edition.
The problem with it, so it's not trying to be like racial holy war, where it's like this is a fact. this is trying to paint them in a mysterious but also like a positive light.
Like, you want to play these people, you say, as they fucking just no.
Like, it's 1997, so understanding their folklore, you would have to have talked to them, I think, because it's
Yeah.
difficult to get any details
Well,
outside of a library.
it's more like that they're playful. It's playful. It's not that
But
they're
you would think you could
malicious thieves. They're pluckish rogues.
at least go to the nearest caravan and basically ask some basics.
Like, yeah, and I mean, admittedly, if this is just a bunch of bullshit that a bunch of Romani fed this girl, like, props to you guys. Amazing, but you also made yourself look like complete fucking...
You could have emailed, like, there is apparently a Gypsy lore society. You could have fucking emailed them. You could have emailed their
because
Congress.
there is some unique stuff you can do. Like, you could have their ability be like, oh, we have the ability to kind of hold off magic a bit because we've had to deal with it so often in our trials and escapades that we've figured out talismans and tokens to rig the fortune. We may not be awakened, but we have the knack, so to speak.
Or make it a separate society of Romani. Like, you know how they say, oh, all those fortune telling stuff, normally that's bullshit, or that's
that's
Because
like
those are
99%
no,
of
these
that
are
is bullshit.
actual fortune tellers.
This is the 1% that actually does have supernatural
we
powers
have
in
the
the
site
construct.
gifted to us because of a joke given to us by a crazy man, and it's hinted the crazy man's like a Malkavian, like a Malkavian Methuselah or something. It's like basically they have insight into the cobweb, you know?
Yeah. So they then go on about character creation,
Oh boy.
just basic stuff. You have no elements.
I like choose family. What Romani family are you from? What representation of their blood do you represent?
So they apparently have 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and what's the 5th one?
Aether?
Spirit.
Yeah, Aether
Yeah.
spirit.
You kind of, and they have different abilities.
I like the Western interpretation of elements there. And
Yeah.
by like, I mean ho-hum.
But we should bring up their skills. And it starts on page 48. Bujo. These are your actual skills. In which, if you're a novice, you can get change for the subway. If you have 2 dots, you're like a telemarketer. At 3, sweet old ladies are just dying to give you their money. An expert, televangelists give you money. And at 5, you could convince a doctor that the cure for cancer involves giving you all his worldly goods.
I love that the first thing you learn is how to scam.
This is, as I said,
Diversion.
this is this book.
There's, let's see, there is diversion. There is the skill of drinking. Yes, you have a skill for consuming alcohol.
Are you ready, though? Take a look at the little bit that they talk about with virtues.
Well, no, there's
When
also
we get to
fortune
that.
telling because of course, and
There's
storytelling.
storytelling and the Talith. It's a specific Romani weaponry, a heavy scarf, with weighted hooks and barbs on each end. There's lore, your advantages, your allies, fame, resources. Yes, virtues. They have 9 points to spend on virtues: courage, self-control, conscientious. They have a greater number of points to spend on virtues than most mortals due to the Gypsies' inherent connection to the universal life force flowing through their veins. So they're now force sensitive for some reason.
Yes.
So they are statistically more moral than your average mortal.
Which means theft is fine and totally a thing in life. No, you also have the blood purity, which that's fun.
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
You qualify as
We've
a true
already...
member of the realm, barely.
Yeah, let's have the magical blood powers,
Yeah.
guys.
Not just magical blood powers, but they treat all non-Romani as like idiots you can scam off of.
Also, the more you have in it, the worse you are at dealing with non-gypsies. And they grant you special gypsy powers, which is really fucking stupid. This first one is amazing, by the way.
Let's see, you have the Dance of Knives. So you're also skilled with knives.
The ancient Romani art of fighting from the soul. What is this bullshit?
Knives.
As you move your
The
body
DNA
to
of
the
the
rhythm
soul.
of your...
Your rating in Dance of Knives is the number of attacks you can make in the
The rhythm
round,
of the
which
knife.
means that it does literally nothing if you have only one, and depending on the purity of your blood, is the limit of these special powers. So if you took this and you are a one, barely a special Rome, congratulations, it does fucking nothing.
This is terrible.
Uh,
You have
also
you have a
points.
gut
Yeah.
instinct.
Well, no. Also point this out. Nearly all these skills fall under larceny.
Yeah. Don't you like the
I thought
specialized
that. I thought
larceny
that.
skills?
I thought that was the point of the storyteller system. It's a little bit more simple in the actions, and it's the combination of attribute and skill.
You know
This is
this.
World of Darkness Gypsies. Logic and reason has no place here.
What could be a fun idea is
I think
Thief the
that
Heist, which makes it like a magical brotherhood of like thieves.
At that point, just play
that could
Payday.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Payday the Heist.
You
Yeah.
also know you also have luck, instinct, like a sixth sense, and magic.
Oh, what's with
There are.
White Wolf and magical eugenics? That's just White Wolf in general. They're fucking weird, man.
It's the 90s and the early
Yeah.
2000s,
90s is kind of great.
and technically the 2010s if we include what they did with Chechnya.
They don't include what they did with the Chechnya. They don't deserve anything to do with Chechnya. That was so stupid. It's insane. And that nobody fucking caught it in the editing room is a just.
It turns out that actually upset the Russian government.
I know, and I don't.
'Cause it-
I'm like, oh well, boo-hoo. But still, it's like you caused an international incident because you wanted to include a real world actual like human rights abuses in your book about vampires and try to say vampires did it. What?
Speaking of atrocity, truth of the ROM. You're an extremely sincere person. You always tell the truth no matter who you're speaking to. Even if you speak to a honky, you seem to be able to convince even yourself of the real truth of any situation, regardless of the seeming facts others speak of. This ability enables you to lie truthfully, in that you are so good at lying, you believe yourself.
I will say this. I think the master then is a good example of this. If you're a master level, the description is even mom believes the dog ate your homework.
My mom believes this book belonged to the dumpster.
You know, the more I'm reading this book, the more I'm like, usually I'm not a fan of censorship at all, but White Wolf canceling this and not allowing it to be sold, I kind of understand.
It is just bad.
Yeah, it's almost like this is something they're ashamed of for a very good reason.
They
And
actually are so ashamed that they actually retconned a lot of this by doing mediums for Wraith.
Yes, they did. They
so
completely invalidated this book to the best of their abilities. It's like it's a
yeah.
fucking.
Then
Also,
finally you
again,
have
more
the
belly dancing. So this is
yeah.
from what I can tell, the writer that also did AD&D, fucking Vistani. They see the Romani as you're the people that wear the shawls and dance and lie and like talk about your fortunes and also gives you blood curses or whatever.
I believe these are merits, technically not,
They're weird.
But they also have their own magic that's like not mage magic. It's their
Yeah.
magic.
Speaking of the magic, so they I don't believe they have. Oh, actually, no,
They
they do.
do,
They are
but it's
awakened. They are awakened beings, but they do not suffer paradox.
Oh, how
It
special.
get
They have a
better.
flexible view of reality, but they still believe the universe functions under a series of fixed
So,
laws.
to give you an idea here, because this is stupid, that it's very stupid. So they're not actually mages because what they're doing is hedge magic, right? So
But
gypsy mages can do gypsy magic, and that is considered coincidental. So therefore, if you are a mage that also happens to be a gypsy, you can do this hedge magic if you qualify for it, and just not have to care about the rest of it.
Oh yeah, also points out that it wasn't Russia that complained, it was specifically the region of Chechnya, the Autonomous Republic of Chechnya.
Yeah,
it's an autonomous region, but Russia's.
Well, I mean, you
it's
got to keep in
whatever.
mind
Fuck it.
Kadyrov is also a piece of shit who is well known for human rights violations. Like, he is well known. Why are you bringing this
Yeah,
up in a game though? I don't know.
why are we discussing this right now? We're trying to talk about how awful gypsies are. Anyway,
Yeah, like here, there's a few
Because whenever
Romani
you
that have the
bring up
power
something,
of both a mage and hedge magic. They have their gypsy magic,
yeah, they
and
get
they're the
their own
gifted.
magic while they're
They're
still a
the most
mage. Why not?
gifted. They are the
Why
most
not?
gifted.
though
I mean,
actually
it's
no,
not like that's
when an
not.
awakened gypsy mage uses this, they would suffer paradox.
No, they
They are less
wait.
likely to.
It's always coincidental magic. That's the thing with that. They can use it. It's always coincidental. So there's a risk of paradox, but not really. Also, if they become a Ravnos, they lose all the blood magic and psychic powers, but still know how to use them. So
Also, from Dax, I'm pretty sure before he got shit canned, one of the main guys who worked on Vampire 5 talked about bringing gypsies back. I wouldn't
I
be
want to
surprised.
fucking strangle that man.
I would not be surprised, specifically because it is thanks to Vampire 5th Edition that there is the retconned bullshit, which, yes, makes sense, but also is silly, where the Ravnos, their true issue, their true weakness now, is getting blown up by the sun randomly. It's fair because their
It's
antediluvian
fair.
got torched, but that is not their actual vice issue because their main thing was vice. They retconned
Yeah,
it because they're pussies.
They just had to
I don't.
steal.
I
Well,
mean,
no, it
to be
wasn't. It
fair,
wasn't steal. It was
I would
any
say that.
habit. It was a
Up,
habitual
yeah.
vice, which could just be smoking.
I know, but the reason why I'm like that's fair is because if your antediluvian gets blown up, I'm pretty sure the
Blown up
psychic
by a
shockwaves
solar
would
ray
have,
cannon, by the way.
yeah, would affect
Apparently
your
this apparently the guy is the Swede
curse.
Dracula.
Oh, that guy,
Oh,
yeah.
that atrocity. There are a lot of atrocities that
I
worked on
never
the.
let a Nordic LARPer run anything related to your tabletop role playing game.
That would be like Games Workshop saying, "Hey, let's bring the pygmy models back
I mean, you could
in all
if you
their
made it
racist
unique.
glory.
Oh, no changes. That's a problem.
No changes.
No changes."
Like if you brought them back and gave them a fun new faction, I'd be like, okay, let's see what
Oh,
you do.
and
If
I could
it's
believe Games Workshop can do that. They
Yeah,
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 brought
yeah.
back the Squan and they brought back the Squats. They can do that. But let's see. Apparently, also the power of the gypsy blood uh, works better in concert with people.
Oh yeah, they can use the power of many.
They have blood foci, um, which guarantee the more blood purity points you have, guarantee automatic
basically
successes.
the more of an ubermensch you are,
The
the
more
more
inbred
And the
you
more of
are,
your group.
the more inbred and racist you are because you don't deal with honkies.
Then there's the sight. So the crystal
yes, you
ball
can also
thing,
be psychic.
I
yeah,
just realized you
is
could
this.
totally turn this into a Harry Potter thing. Because isn't this like basically
You're a
just
gypsy, Harry.
yeah?
You're a gypsy, Harry.
I mean, blood purity.
I'm
I
a
mean,
what?
that's a thing in that too. Why not?
Why not? J.K. Rowling was really just writing a book about the the Gypsies
Well, remember,
from
this came
Roman
out in '97, around the time of Sorcerer's
This
Stone.
came out. Yeah.
A
J.K.
gypsy woman
Rowling living in a
just leaves
dumpster
the just
reading this
a
book.
gypsy woman just leaves the book on top of a napkin.
And thus, Chris has to deal with Potter fanboys and her retcons forevermore.
Yep.
Have
Also, the
RPGs
mold in
really,
her house
yeah,
ruining her brain.
have RPGs really evolved at all since the '90s? In terms of yes and no.
Yes. In terms of design, incredibly so. Yes.
Yes, in design, a lot.
Actual game theorists got involved with this shit, like people that do math for a living in college
And
and
people
study like probability.
who design books, like how to make things
And
aesthetically simple and understandable.
this shit doesn't happen again.
Yeah, because somebody sits down at the company and goes, Bob, I don't think we should make the book that's incredibly hyper racist about this one specific ethnic group. That would probably be a bad idea. Not just because we'd be canceled on Twitter, but because no one's gonna fucking buy it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chief, but look, I went on Wikipedia and the Romani have a world what? Like I literally
Well,
went on Wikipedia. None of this is true.
they have a
None
world
of
tree.
this.
They're related to the Vikings.
How are they related? They're not related to the Vikings at all. Dave, did you go and talk to them over the
They're
river
the reason.
corner?
They're the reason why the Geta Fenris fell.
This has been the
It's a
gypsy long
gypsy
game this
curse.
entire
It is
time.
a gypsy curse.
This
Um,
is their revenge for this book, is getting rid of the Get Fenris.
but I love how
Fucking
they actually tried to keep the get as long as possible, and then one guy, I call him the Arabian because he was this Arab man who threw a big baby tantrum over anything possibly related to fascism, except the Bruja. Ignore that so many of them became skinheads and neo-Nazis. Ignore that. Please don't think about it. That's the funny
But
thing. They
yeah.
bitched about the
Oh,
get, but they forgot the Bruja had a lot of skinheads.
hold on. Continuing on with the talk of time. So Ronnie Sears, time is not a linear concept. It's a very narrow concept that only makes a ROM laugh. It
What?
so
yeah. There's this entire
this
thing of
is
like
really dumb.
silly gaje with your science and everything. Don't you
Haha, white
understand?
people math. White people
Time is
math makes
all
us
a
laugh.
is all a primordial soup. It's all a big joke. Time goes back and forward. It's not a line. It's made out of circles because clocks are round. Yeah. So I guess this is just like
Basically,
they can see the future.
fuck you. We're not going to explain it.
They can see the past and the future. They have auguries, tarot cards, crystal gazing, tea leaves, hand reading, all that stuff. Then next up is the evil eye, which is cursing. And the way it works is you do evil eye plus manipulation roll, a difficulty of the target's willpower +2. Um, a single success curses the victim for a week, 2 successes for a month, 3 successes 6 months, 4 successes a full year, and 5 permanent.
By the way, I like Squirrel Killer's idea of bringing out the old pygmies where they're actually the summons of the real pygmies, like a fucking simulacrum they use. That could be funny.
Yeah. Um, it can only be reversed by another gypsy.
Oh yeah, this book is extremely racist, Eternal. It is horrendously so. You don't understand. The Romani are legally allowed to steal from honkies, and you only have to be true to the Romani. Why
They
are we?
they also
Why was it legal for us at Augsburg to be killed by Christians?
they also apparently stole one of the nails that would have been put into Christ's body, and that's why and Christ somehow now re- made it so that they no longer have to follow the seventh commandment.
I think I've actually heard that now that I'm thinking about it, but that was from an anti-Zigonist post or something. Like it was an anti-Zigonist quote. Like, it's the same reason you hear the Jewish people called Christ killers. Like, it's from the same source.
And so, and you can like curse somebody to be like to trip whenever they enter combat. And I guess if you curse them, you receive 4 successes. The person trips the next 12 times they're in combat. Which I could see this as being a very good minor nuisance, and I guess depending on the target's willpower, because how high can willpower go?
Pretty high. It can go up to 5 at least.
I think apparently Tech has been cursed as well now. He has apparently lost voice connection. One of us is sick, one of us is lost voice. I
Well,
dread to know what I'm gonna face. Let's continue on then.
I kind of love that. Okay,
Uh,
which of you in the chat's a Romani that can use the evil eye spell?
you need to give us several successes. But now, but after that, we have mediumship.
Yeah, or you can talk to ghosts.
Yeah, they specifically say if a storyteller uses Wraith the Oblivion, then these mediums have a fetter of a wraith that they are trying to contact.
By the way,
Uh,
Tech, since you're in the chat, you could try to log back in and log off, maybe.
Oh, there it goes. Now it's working
oh,
again.
we're
Thank you,
cured.
Random Romani, for getting rid of his curse.
Oh, uh, and so
I
after
Oh,
would just
that,
this
make the
wasn't
cut
written in
even by
94.
19.
It's
this is
97.
97.
It's 97.
The
I do
same
not know
year
how this book got published.
the same year the Showa book came out.
Yeah, Charnel Houses of Europe came out the same year as this.
Maybe the
Yes,
Black Dog stuff had better editing standards.
it unironically did. Like the thing about the Black Dog stuff, especially like the Wraith the Oblivion team, is that they were willing to go places that arguably shouldn't have been gone, but for the medium for the medium as a whole, it was like actually a good move. Like the whole thing about writing something like Journal Houses of Europe is that it's a very good lesson on like what you can actually do, right? With not only role playing games as a medium, but like role playing games as historical material for like information and things like that. It's a fantastic book. We'll cover it at some point, I guess. But
Oh, we have to make this up. We have
yeah,
to.
Yeah.
Um, but moving on as we continue through this, the other thing that the Gypsies can do is the draba. It is the art of creating foci, potions, amulets, oils, and charms. It may be used by anyone of the blood, but no gaje is capable of using one of these magical devices. They are somehow gene coded for the blood.
I kind of like the more I read, the more I hate because this reminds me of Ars Magica, but shit.
Well,
and even then, Ars Magica is like, look, it's just
it's
random ass
fucking
people
mage
that become,
cantrips.
yeah.
There's like healing bombs.
Yeah, because it reminds me of Ars Magica specifically because mystical items, that mages can make, do occasionally make it into the hands of the menials
Well, no, they sometimes like specifically make them for them.
and make them for the menials. And you have to be careful about what you give.
Yeah, because you don't want to accidentally give like Lord Fuckwad of Baron Fartington Town or whatever the goddamn staff of lightning. Like that's generally a bad idea.
You
Look,
could
look,
give
look, you
them.
don't understand. Baron Dickwad of Psycho's Point is perfectly responsible. Oh God, why is he burning this village down with the staff of lightning? Why is he
You
doing
could
Right.
that?
give. Yeah, you could though give them the Diclo. The Diclo of Aniara. It is apparently a scarf that, when placed on the head and expending a point of willpower, it grants the wearer an almost impenetrable disguise.
Oh, I thought you meant Dick, like Dick Glow.
Yeah, like a glowing dick. But actually, I think that you could give someone something like that in Ars Magica, and that would be considered okay to give the normals. A ring that makes their dick glow like a color. I think that would work.
I mean, it's harmless and it is a joke. You can use it as a light to get to places if it's dark.
Yes, your
Hold on,
knob
guys.
light.
Wait, hold on, guys. I need to make the light bigger. Starts rubbing his pants.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
just envisioning like the bread bowl, the infinite bread bowl, which gives you infinite chicken soup.
Oh, you can make a rabbit's foot. Level 4, you can make a rabbit's foot. Gives the bearer the luck of the ROM.
I
Spend
feel
one
like this is
comp.
just okay. I don't know anything about the Romani. Like, what other things can we throw in from like random new age bullshit that I know?
Why not just include this? It totally makes sense to include this.
Shadow Brew, the Mulvi, which is apparently Ghost Sight. It enables the ROM to see the spirit world.
I like how the Shadow Brew legitimately is so terrible it knocks you into the Shadow realm. It knocks you into the Umbra.
Oh,
Like, just the worst.
the Dukerin disc. Charm is placed on a compact disc. Allows the consciousness to fly free as she reaches into the threads of time and binds certain of these threads into the laser codes on the CD.
What?
Once the ritual is completed, the Drabarne plays
Oh,
the
I
CD to
know what
hear
they're.
what information she has recorded.
I know
Each
what this
song.
is. It's like those people that use like old CDs as like decorative glowies on their cars and shit.
Oh,
It's like that. That's so stupid. Or it's like that but combined with ghost recordings. Are you
yes, I
here,
think so.
ghosts? You're gay. The ghost talked to us. It sounded
Like
like.
like an example they give of
Imagine they made a
a
Jewish
song.
supplement. We actually made that joke, Eternal. Sorry.
Also a Jehovah's Witness one. Jehovah's Witness, the door knocking.
No, no, no.
Jehovah is the witnessing.
Well, it would be or Jehovah's Witness.
Or to be
Jehovah's
witness, the
Witness,
witness is the Jehovaning.
the Watchtower.
No, Watchtower, the preparation, and it's like it shows the world about to end, and you're laughing as one of the few people that aren't going to die horribly.
How many times have they predicted the world's gonna end right by the
A
now? Like, I
lot,
think,
a lot.
yeah.
Also, the
Well, that
Jovos genuinely do believe that, like, wholeheartedly, they're going to be the only survivors, and they're awful. They are awful people. At least the leadership is.
but apparently though, with this CD thing, it plays, I guess, the fate or whatever, but in the recording of the song.
How is this different from seeing the fucking future, which they had
It's
like
with
two examples of?
CDs.
This is stupid. These are terrible.
Kind of
Serath's
wild.
Serath's Claw. Any weapon engraved with the symbol of Serath, 3 curved claws dipped in blood, empowered through the force of the Drawbring's will, becomes a weapon capable of doing aggravated damage to all beings, including vampires, spirit dwellers, fairies, and were creatures.
Well, that's some
So they have,
bullshit.
so they have a
In
weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
I
a,
fucking
a
hate that. Like, I hated Thin Blood Alchemy because it allowed you to do something similar, and it also allowed you to get every fucking discipline one rank lower than your current. That's bullshit. This is also bullshit.
it also allows you to inflict an additional wound levels in the 5 succeeding rounds as small pieces of the claw work their way deeper into the target's
What
body.
a load of shit.
So after 5 rounds, you must make a willpower roll plus fortitude, or take additional aggravated wound.
What a load of bullshit. I hate this more than Thin Blood Alchemy, and that's saying a lot. I fucking loathe Thin Blood Alchemy. The concept's not terrible. It's what it was constructed as. That's my problem.
I think the Scroll Killer does have the name for the Jewish supplement, Judaism, the banking.
I prefer Roy Vey the kvetching.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up is the Families of Power. So you have the Lupines, the children of Serath, almost all human. They are all kin, either by blood or marriage, to werewolves. They are kin to the Silence Rider tribe, as they are all quite aware.
So they're all wolfkin.
Despite that
Although other
making
families
no
consider
sense.
them as inbreds, the Lupines believe they are the closest to Dana, being doubly related to her. Wait, no, Zarath and Dana's twin sons, Abram and Zarin. Abram?
Oh
Oh
boy.
no. Are the Jews related to the Gypsies
Yeah.
and werewolves? Well, let's see. The
Yeah.
two brothers ended up in the land of the pharaohs.
Yeah. They're going that way. They're doing it. This idiot's actually doing it.
What?
You heard it here. The Romani came from Egypt, and they're connected to both Jews and the werewolves. They're all wolf fuckers. They all fuck dogs. You heard it here, everyone.
Where did you learn that as Olivia licked the sweat from his cheeks? What the fuck are we reading?
I don't know. I hate this.
As he escorted his little sister to.
Are we going?
Oh no!
Oh no.
What? Wait. Zarin was the image of feminine beauty, but was a fine-looking man.
Wait.
What?
So a
What's
cross-dressing
okay,
man
no.
too?
I need. I'm starting this. So, they neither grew fur, fangs. The women Olivia and Pete, who also happened to be twins, sniffed at our Zarin and knew them as kinfolk.
Wait, what is even?
The
I
brothers
don't
awoke in their
know.
arms to the newfound lovers. The four
Um,
lovers returned to the city and schemed in the morning. Zarin, who was a fine-looking man with deep chocolate skin and delicate features, disguised himself with the help of the two werewolves as a maiden new to the court of the pharaohs. So they turned Zarin into a femboy.
so okay, so they had a twink. Okay,
This is the weirdest fucking thing we've ever read, and I love it.
They catch the eye of the pharaoh. No time he stood within the pharaoh's open bedchamber, and the pharaoh prepared the relaxing wine for his new conquest.
By the way,
Zarin took the effort.
wait. When did Final Fantasy VII come out? Because this might be her copying the Don Corneo mansion bit.
Adding
This
his
might be
long.
copying the
Wait,
Cloud dressing as a fucking girl.
okay. Cross-dressing is a pretty big thing in Indo-European mythology. It's like a
It
tricking.
is,
Yeah.
but it's rather interesting that the setup is very similar to Don Corneo's mansion.
Where it's like, yes, we must get the most twinkish femboy we can and dress him up in a dress.
It's
because
rather
well,
interesting.
no. They had this guy hit on the pharaoh so they could have the pharaoh drink some wine, knock him out from that, and steal the tome from his fat arms and his greasy face.
So the
Zarin left the
femboy
naked
totally sucked
snoring.
his dick, right?
No, I don't know, but he, affixing beard to face and pellet to stomach, Zarin left the naked snoring pharaoh, striding imperially from the bedchamber and thence from the court.
So,
In between that, we find out that maybe the rebel yell of the South was actually from the children of Sareth.
no.
Yes.
So not only
That's
are they
no.
Jewish, not only are the Jews descended
They're
from
Jewish
They're the South.
Confederates. The
Now we
fucking
know. Now we
Pregnant
know
and
who.
Frank time travel memes
Wait,
are
wait.
fucking coming true.
Now we know who owned the slave ships. It was the Jewish
Gypsies. Oh,
gypsy werewolfkin.
this is turning into the weird Confederate and Pregnant and Frank shit that's on Hiss.
She taught McClellan. Then said she must immediately take the horses, chickens, and gold to the man who would teach McClellan the howl.
I don't.
this is mental illness.
So in
This
the
book is. I don't know if we can finish this book.
We're
the children
going to.
of
We're almost done.
Sareth found the Book of the Dead. Apparent. So back to the possible Jewish ones. They took from some fat pharaoh who lusted after femboys. The Book of the Dead.
By the way,
And
if you're wondering what the Book of the Dead is, that is an actual. That's the instructions on how to mummify people. If I recall correctly, the Book of the Dead was like it's one of the terms for basically mummification manuals because the Egyptians had those.
yeah, so they can have skills based on the wolf at different levels.
Wait, so they can
Um,
actually have like gnosis abilities and shit? Fuck.
yeah,
Yep.
so with the Ravnos, obviously you have their connections. Um, Apparently Dana went back to search for Gracian. She threw open the wild gate, sent her soul searching for any trace of her husband. She stood among the ashes for hours, some say days. Finally found one tendril of her glorious mind brushed against the last vestiges of her husband's form. A small rock encrusted with the stains of Dracian's once flowing blood. She took the stone and fled the city for good. As children grew in number, she found one man among the children who carried him a passion almost the equal of Danan's or Diane's. The name of this man was
No,
Ravnos.
I was right. It was a second gen vampire.
It was so placing the blooded stone on Ravnos' tongue, Dana bit her own tongue before kissing him fully on the mouth. This is one of her children, by the way,
Oh, that's great.
that she's kissing. With the ancient blood to work its magic, Dana lifted up the knife and plunged the blade into Ravnos' breast, holding him tightly as she felt his life's blood ebb and wane and then strengthen again in her embrace. Just that Dana and her husband create their only child. They should have spelled it with an E, if that's the case. And from him sprung the Shmu known to the other vampires as Ravnos. Ravnos had children of his own before Dana chose to transform him, and these changes protected their father. So apparently the dried blood of a vampire was able to pass on the curse of Cain.
Yeah,
It's second generation.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
it's not unreasonable. It's just really
Um,
fucking stupid.
in Romania, for many years, the Ravnos were enslaved by other peoples until the Ravnos Shimulo Durga Sin, once a priestess of the ancestors of the very people who now enslaved the Rom, led the Ravnos in revolt. Um, Emboldened by their successes and just plain fed up with their role as mama's boys and bootlickers for the gaje, many of the Ravnos plunged into cities and towns of Eastern Europe and the Middle East with a vengeance. Um, Having survived the attempted genocide of the Holocaust and an earlier one, the same in Albania, the Rom of Eastern Europe face acute and active loathing by the gaje. Violent Romani gangs from both families now walk the streets of many European cities and several American cities. Extreme violence of these Campania gangs directed against the Gypsy and gaje alike only fuels the fire of the gaje's fear and hatred. As Notnito says, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Moving on from that, the
No,
Ermine. We're just moving on. Just
Moving on.
so
Smallest major family. Danger dying out.
dying out. Dana still flitted among her children as a mother hen clucks her chickens. She returned to a company in the Transylvanian countryside. Um,
these are
they
the
made a
fairy ones, by the way.
blanket. Yep, blanket for
Yep.
her. Um, here are the wrong. Here are the humans of all races. This dark band I believe to be the Shilmu and the warriors. And this the warriors of Gaia. She reached into her bag, brought forth a spool of golden thread.
By the way, what does this
Uh,
have to do with anything? No
I
clue.
basically she found a group of Romani, gave them a golden thread. They slept there, and um, this guy uh, ended up having children. These children were Fae, long faces, hands, beautiful black hair, shot through with silver. The Ermine have numbered more than 9 branches of their family. They convinced the Rom to be the midwives to the Sealy Court's rebirth into the physical world at the convergence. That convergence, the chosen Rom will usher in the fairies, and the ninth wave, the fairy army, will ride forth from Arcadia in a sweeping flood of magic and rebirth. It's the quiverful. It's the
So
quiverful for the Fae.
yeah, I was about to say, like, okay,
They
Also,
can
Baba
recognize
Yaga fucked them
at
up.
level 1. They recognize changelings.
Yep. Also, they got fucked up by
just flat
Baba
out.
Yaga.
They can apparently fast travel from ancient fairy caves.
That is something changelings can do.
And then we have the Furry Day. These are the mage ones.
This is where you get the hedge magic.
Yep.
I should note for people listening, it's spelled with a PH, not an F, not the furry day.
It doesn't matter. It's a load of hibbity.
Yes, I know. It's just that there's enough furry bullshit in this already.
The big boat ride. Well,
Oh,
before us
yep.
furry
Oh
folks were
boy.
sanctified, there was a woman, a powerful Drabarne named Noah. Noah was a busybody, a real nose to the ground,
Oh no.
tap on the phone snooper. She had the sight. One day she was out for a psychic jaunt up and down threads of time and found one whopper of a tangle. She found a fish spirit. She freed the scaly fella, but before Noah could check back in her body, the fish fella swallowed her whole.
That's
Noah got with that.
I
She
fucking
went
hate
back
how
there.
this is written, by the way.
She discovered
this whole
plans in the
thing
works to
is
flesh out the very
just
own section of the universe to rid of some of the excess of human blockage. So she gathered her family and her family's family and told them of her fishing trip. Anyway, once the rigmarole rolled, the Rom got busy. They built a really big boat right there in the mountain and passed the word to the other families, warning them to float or fly. They gathered up their pigs, cows, and chickens, and dogs, and kids, and whatnot, and piled into their party barge. This day, the gaje are still steamed about not getting word of this little
Oh
earth scrubbing.
god.
They lay claim to Noah and give the flood to their great big daddy of a superego, and they screw up the story even further. What can you expect from a bunch of gaje?
That's awful. That's
I
disgusting levels of historic
I guess
revisionism.
God made a pact with the Romani.
This is beyond
I
normal
get.
racism.
I guess Abraham is descended from her.
Well, remember,
I
Abram had a brother who's a twink.
Zar
So
is that
so
the pharaoh,
here's the
yeah.
thing, right? Well, the world of
so
darkness is mutable when it comes to stuff like theology. The God of the Bible is very different from, well, White Wolf. The White Wolf take on it is very different. Lucifer's very different. Cain and Abel, different. But what they usually don't do is this, which is not just, well, in this case, theological revisionism, but done in such an obnoxious and cuntish way that
so
it's actually offensive.
so there's apparently been something going around recently. D&D made a book and they had a forward talking about some of the issues with Dungeons and Dragons early on. One of the examples they gave was Vishnu was a character that you could fight and get his +3 sword of demon slaying. This is about the same thing, but for the Abrahamic religions.
I would actually argue it's worse because depending on how they stat out Vishnu, it could still be pretty respectful.
I
It
mean,
could,
still giving Vishnu the +3 sword of demon slaying is sort of underselling it, I think.
It is
Like
underselling it.
only
It
a
should be a plus.
+3?
It
Like, are
should
you
at least be
fucking
a
kidding
plus
me?
5.
Yeah. Yeah, like put some fucking respect on this man.
Like, it's offensive, but not as offensive as this.
It's not like, yeah. Like this
where
is
you're saying Noah wasn't, well, he wouldn't have been Jewish either,
yeah.
uh,
It,
but
it it's just like
he
here's the
not only
flood
is
myth.
Noah not descended from Adam
Also,
and
Noah
Eve.
is a woman. Also, Noah is a gypsy.
Is a
Also,
Romani
I don't
woman.
fucking know anymore.
Also,
And
don't
also
forget, haha, honkies didn't know. The non-Romani all got fucking destroyed, and they're so angry about it, they retconned it.
Then wait, why are they still around? Did they turn into
Time.
deep ones?
Time is, yeah, they're fish people. That's why we're special. Everyone else is a fish person.
But yeah, Vishnu was still a good figure in old school D&D.
Oh,
Like,
speaking
he
of
was still
fish
like a
people,
deity.
they mentioned Lovecraft here.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
cool.
Where?
Scroll down, you'll see it.
Page.
The honky cling tenaciously to their anti-magical pro-science,
Oh,
all explainable, no monsters in the
no.
closet scripts.
Page 98.
I know, I just wanted to...
Through such converts, allegedly including Byron, Blake, and Lovecraft,
die.
the Ram have achieved greater influence in gaje thinking. They go on to write fiction that actually present glimpses of truth beneath surface reality.
The
This is...
idea that Lovecraft was a gypsy convert
Or that
is hilarious.
talked to what?
That he would
in like
talk to someone
the
who
year
is
he
not
died?
lily white.
Were there any Romani in Rhode Island?
Probably 3, and they were probably nowhere near him.
No, he met them once. It was in New York, which were the darkest years
No.
of his life.
No, he met them in a dream.
Oh,
Or
okay,
for him,
okay.
it was
Now
a
we're getting
nightmare.
Dreamland
Oh,
stuff.
if you're wondering,
Yeah.
Eternal American, what I do is they use a term called gaje, which is the Romani equivalent to goyim, but I've been translating it as honky all along
Because
because it
it's
has the
funnier.
same connotation.
Um,
Honky, whitey,
yeah, apparently the
goyim,
furry
it
day
don't matter.
really keep up with the idea that they are the descendants of Noah, who is the guardian of the seeds of knowledge, and that basically it's because of the use of the sight
This is
that
like
they were able.
this is like protocols of the fucking Zion level writing here.
Yeah, but like the Protocols of Elders of Zion was a psyop by the Russian government to try to justify pogroms.
Yeah, and this is a
This
psyop
is
of an American hippie.
yeah.
This is awful.
Then we come up with the Pateran.
The Surara,
Involve
aka
the
the
ability to
killers.
reach beyond the forms of rigid understanding and learning traditionally relied on by the human mind.
Oh, that's their ability. I kind of skipped that, but we can go over it.
Let's
Oh,
not and say we did.
these are basically mage points.
Yeah, I kind of ignored it. So
Next up is the bad people tribe, the Surara.
The I hate everyone tribe.
They first gathered in the late 1940s.
they believe in the superiority of the Rom over all others, and the superiority of the knife tribe over all Romani.
It's the Irgun, but for the Romani. Because they survived the genocide of the Holocaust.
Believing themselves to be the finely honed epitome of all of the blood brings the Romani, the Surar see their fledgling family as the zenith of the pentagram.
Oh no. Bitter and alone, he won the first Corsica. Only member of his family to survive the Holocaust. He wandered Europe alone, looking for other isolated Rom like himself. He met up with a vampire neonate who told Corsica how she and other Rom had taken part in the uprising at Goldiker.
Oh wow, they're actually going there. We're actually going to the camps.
This book
Gladker.
belongs there.
Well, remember, there's no need to even have a justification to kill a Romani, and by this I mean this book.
Yeah. Fuck it. Maybe Hitler was right. This book is giving me some ideas.
I'm trying to look up this camp.
If it's just a fake camp, I'd be like, okay.
It's still
Whatever.
not a good thing to do. It's probably one of it's probably one of the lesser ones that was specific for like
Glock
the Romani.
could be Glocker. I don't know, but
If they made up a fancy camp,
the Shimo neonate when did he explain how another Shimo had embraced many of the ROM of the camp, how they had risen up against their prisoners, destroying the camp for good.
oh, that's oh wow, you're really going there. Remember, this
I
is
think
being
this book
written.
might be the reason why like the fucking authors of fucking Charles Houses of Europe are probably look at this author like, do we tell her what we're writing? And they're like, no, she'll want to join, so
Um,
no.
No. Imagine if what happened was they were talking about what they were writing. She overheard some of it. It's like, yeah, I should add that. I should add that for my for my racially pure ethnocentrist Romani.
so Corsica discovered she and all the others had been drained of their Romani blood in order to become Shilmul. Disguising his horror at the story, he agreed to guard Trinka while she slept within the Earth's embrace. Spent half the day thinking on the new horrors that she revealed to him. Um, others had freely given away their blood, their heritage, to be free of the concentration camp. The Rom of the camp had sold their heritage in order to be free themselves and save their own skins. To Corsica's way of thinking, Trinka and the others had committed an even greater form of genocide than the Third Reich by turning
Are
against
you
themselves and
fucking real?
destroying their own blood.
Ironically, worse than Hitler.
So
Listen,
imagine if they did actually write the Jewish equivalent of this book, and they had like the fascist
the
version of it, and they had this exact logic here. Oh God.
there were the capos, but it's fucking complicated because you were all in a fucking death camp. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is disgusting.
Oh boy, it gets better, guys.
Oh boy.
So Corsica then picks up a shovel and a pick, traditional weapons of the righteous and the downtrodden. Corsica exposed Trinket to the purifying rays of the sun, thus destroying his first traitor to the blood.
This is revolting.
So the thing they're obsessed with is blood purity
They're Nazis.
as gypsies.
No, not even the Irgun was this. The guys who literally talked to Hitler and said, "Hey, give us weapons, we'll fight the British,"
Yeah,
while
even
Hitler
they
was
were better.
murdering Jews.
Even they were better than this.
They stopped that once they realized what Hitler was fucking doing.
This is disgusting. I'm gonna be blunt.
They also
This is, I
can
think, the
detect
point.
gypsy blood, also vampires, also werewolves, also mages, because they can.
They see the
Also,
Ravnos as the worst
total
of
vampire
traitors.
death. Yeah, total vampire death, no exceptions. Which, not gonna lie, kind of agree.
Yeah.
I
Not
mean,
for the reasons they're making, though.
no.
By the
They
way,
could
their
though.
ability is they can literally detect how white you are.
Well, they can. They can actually. Yeah, level 2. They can.
I can smell your whiteness.
I can sense if you're a mage. I can sense if you're a werewolf or a vampire. Level 4, they become a fucking bloodhound. They can sense it up to a mile away.
Yeah.
I'm just
Any
envisioning.
vampire, gypsy, or werewolf that has been sensed before within a mile, and then at 5 it extends to 3 miles, and they can tell if they're in good condition or not.
Imagine like making a racist group and giving them the ability to
And they
detect
even
ethnicities
okay,
by
the book
smell.
even kind of goes like, we know these guys are racist. That's okay. That's the point
Yeah, they're
because they're
supposed
meant
to
to
be the
represent the
villains.
dark part of the gypsy blood, which
What?
just
Was there ever a group like this in
No.
Romani history?
Gangs
I
like this gangs existed. Like there were Romani gangs that did things like beat people and murder them, but not like this. Theft and other things are a thing, but like that's the shit this idiot wrote as, oh, it's fine. What the fuck?
She has to have made an interview about this at some point.
Not Nito. My mutt senses are tingling as ability. Yeah,
I
this is revolting.
Yeah, the fucking Uncle Ruckus sense, like the fucking.
Admittedly, having Uncle Ruckus as a vampire hunter, it's like I could smell your ethnicity.
This powerful
the
vampire.
vampire fares only these things: garlic, the cross,
And the
the
Bible,
Twilight
because none of them can
series.
fucking read.
No, the Twilight series.
Yeah.
Next is the Chronicles, but I'm calling it mostly because it's just
Campaign ideas and then some
campaign
pre-made,
ideas,
and
sample
that's it.
characters.
It's just one of them's a paragraph. It's literally a paragraph of basic garbo. Just to give you an idea, like there's no effort,
What?
there's no thought put in any of
Hold
it.
on. While traveling through the countryside, black spiral dancers for Mori, a ghoul, a Bruhagane, or some other enemy attacks the characters.
Just some
The-
random
Yeah,
enemy.
they're obviously out. Your company is obviously outmatched, and it seems in dire trouble. When they reach this spot, they stumble on a group of fairies conducting a rite, and the characters disrupt the rite and end up being transported to one of the fairy realms of the Umbra.
No?
I-
Oh, this is terrible.
0 out of 10 do
They're
not
just
buy this book.
They're just throwing these normal people into like you get to meet a Methuselah, black spiral dancers, the technocracy,
Because
things
they're
that
not normal people. They're gypsies, which are a special magical bloodline, don't you see? I fucking hate it.
I might say this actually probably is more offensive than racial holy war.
It is. Because racial holy war came from a place of blatant hate. This is coming from someone who it's almost you ever heard of Orientalism, like the fetish
Yeah.
for the odd, the unique, the this is someone who either really hates the Romani or they don't know anything and it's based just on what they have heard of and they like love them in the creepy way.
This is just
This is terrible.
this is offensive.
You
Like
understand why they pulled this, though,
this
right?
oh no,
Like,
I completely understand why.
And here's some characters for those curious.
I just
like
again,
you
this
can
is the
go on about
company
censorship or whatever else, but like this is
that
just trash.
this is the company that literally did the impossible. They made a game about the Holocaust.
Yeah, they made an expansion
They
about the
made
Holocaust,
they
and
made a
it's not
game,
bad.
yeah, about the Holocaust, and
It's
didn't
about
turn
as
it
respectful as they
into a
can get.
Holocaust game. They actually made it meant something. And then you have, admittedly, it's supposed to be a villain, but at the same time, writing the words that surviving the Holocaust or the Porjamos, but defiling your blood was a worse atrocity than the Porjamos.
I think the thing that gets me the most, because that last bit was horrible, was just the part where, oh, don't, it was almost like that animated Titanic movie. Oh, you see, like a vampire embraced all of the people, like, sent them to their first death and they got up and freed themselves. They could have don't worry, this death camp, they liberated themselves. Yay! Oh my fucking god. Imagine him say that
Look,
happened in Auschwitz.
unlike the animated Titanic movie, there's no random rapping dog out of nowhere to distract us from this bullshit. Just what even fucking is this? It's
So,
trash, is what this is.
oh god, yeah.
A fitting conclusion to this year of Dice Scum. We've been through a lot this year, haven't we?
Oh god.
Yeah. Through
We've done some
sickness
good
and in
books.
health.
We've done some shit books. We've done some fucking atrocities.
This actually, I think, is the worst book we've ever covered.
No. No, you cannot say
Not
that
on a
this is worse
no.
than Fatal. No.
Well, you guys didn't really cover Fatal. You attempted character creation. You didn't get into what was it?
We didn't need
The
to.
Chupacabra.
We didn't need to. I mean, we can also go and like this is Black Tokyo. Black Tokyo is still worse than this.
This is not bad on this is
No, I
not
don't
bad
mean bad
on
in
a
quality. I mean,
yeah
this
on a
is
technical level. This is bad in the sense of, again, out of everything White Wolf has done, this is the thing that they do not allow to be sold.
keep in mind, like, I have shat on a lot of White Wolf decisions, ranging from Thin Blood Alchemy to making Vicissitude an alien virus. This
They
is the worst
basically
thing they've
dropped
ever
that
made.
plot thread. Yeah, they dropped the alien virus plot thread pretty fucking fast.
Same with
But
Schreiber. Like, there's a lot of. When I said this is the worst book, I don't mean in terms of quality or in terms of degeneracy. I just mean in terms of repulsiveness. And the reason I say that is it's the last bit with the Surara, with the guy who legitimately said, "Oh, they became vampires, making them worse than Nazis," and the essentially irreverent, "Hey, don't worry, they could free themselves because they became vampires," which it
that's
came out the same year as Charnel Houses of Europe. That's the reason that I'm disgusted by this.
yeah, Journalists of Europe, which kind of goes like, the whole like Holocaust thing, and yeah,
Imagine
that
if
was awful.
Imagine if Charnel Houses of Europe's like, don't worry, look at all of these vampires that came about because they took first death to escape the camps. That's kind of what they did, and it's repulsive. And as Not Nita says, this is bad on an ethical level. It is actual hate speech in a way.
I but the
It's
thing
almost
is
like hate
though,
speech.
the the thing is though, it you, you could tell it's not like malicious. It's not telling people to fucking hate them. It is portraying them positively as like a unique
It
outsider.
doesn't.
It is just written
No, it
so
doesn't.
poorly that, well, that's what the intent is.
They
The intent
they
is that
focused
they're
on the
that
dancing and thievery though.
yeah, but it's in terms of like the outsider that they do what they do to survive, and they swin they try to con people, but they don't hoard possessions. It's all about living in the moment, celebrating life and what you can do in it.
Didn't read like that to me. Didn't read like that to me at
This
all.
this is just the flat out worst product in World of Darkness that they released for at least the first edition.
I would also argue it's in our top 5 for most repulsive books. There are worse books. I still consider Thirsty Swords Lesbians to be a complete disgrace. Fatal, when we did the character generation, was inscrutable and horrible. But I don't know. It's just the don't worry, we destroyed the camp and fought the Nazis. That to me is the thing I hate. It
It just
is
makes no sense.
no, it's not that. It's just it is so. It'd be like doing a fucking Fortnite dance over like a genocide, you know?
I mean,
Imagine doing a
have you seen
I will
Fortnite
say
TikTok
players?
presentation on the
I
Armenian genocide.
I will say this.
Have
They
you met
they
Fortnite players? They would do that.
I will say this though. It looks like they made up that concentration camp. They
Yeah,
did
no,
not
that was completely made up.
use an actual camp. If they used an actual camp, I think I can call them anti-Semitic. Even though it's not dealing with the Jews, using the atrocity of a camp from that was in the Holocaust in such a way, I think could justify that.
I don't know.
Well, it's also
They also hijacked the character, one of the patriarchs, Noah and Abraham.
Well, that's just honest. The way it sounds, they're not trying to shit on you. They're making it like, oh, those silly people with their stuffy rules.
I don't know. This is one of the more repulsive books we've covered.
It really is.
I'm almost tempted to do like we should totally at one point do like a top 10 worst thing we've ever fucking read. I'm curious on what the crew would come up with for it.
Look, I think that again, I have to say like the worst
Gypsies
thing
would
we've
make
read
it
is
on there. I don't know if it'd be in
it
the
would
top
make
5
there.
though.
It would not be in the top 5, just flat out. Like I can think of at least 3 other books that are worse than this that we've reviewed this year.
Yeah,
Candela
because I think
Obscura, for instance.
oh no, Candle Obscura is just insipid and forgettable. Thirsty Swords Lesbian is absolutely repulsive.
Thirsty Sword Lesbians, Advanced Lovers and Lesbians, or whatever the fuck. That's definitely worse than this. Aside from the Gaylord setting, because the Gaylord setting is just campy as shit.
Fortnite dancing
Uh,
during the second plane. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Fortnite dancing as you press the button on the gas chambers. You just gotta hit that gritty, man.
I'm imagining an SS officer doing that as the gas starts coming in.
No, I'm envisioning like it starts with them dressing up in the Hugo Boss, like with fancy cuts, like to some random song, boom, boom, and then it just starts seeing him do the gritty, and then slap the button and dance, and you hear the gas vents blowing.
They're doing a dab. Okay, they're doing a dab, but
They're doing the fucking
but
moonwalk over the
no, no,
button.
no. They're doing a dab, but it's directing people if they go to the camp or the chamber.
Oh my
I'm
God.
going to hell.
Isn't Thirsty Swords Lesbian just porn? No, it's a cynical, pathetic cash grab.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Other books I would probably rate. I think Beast the Primordial, just because of the person who
Beast the
wrote it.
Primordial, I mean, of all time, yeah, it's up there.
Um, I don't know. I think I'd probably put this in like maybe I would put it in my top 5, but like number 4. Because
No,
Extreme Meat
no.
Punks Forever.
No, Extreme Meat Punks Forever, Sword Lesbians,
But
Beast, there's
there was
Stigmata,
Amber.
there's...
No,
There was
Stigmata wasn't that as bad as you remembered.
there was Sorcerer, aka the academic textbook,
That was
but
just
for a
bad on a
magic
gameplay
setting.
point of view. It was weird.
You're forgetting Black Tokyo and Fatal. Like, we did do Black Tokyo.
Oh no, I
That
remember
that
Black Tokyo.
we didn't even get through that book. We called that.
We didn't finish the book because it got too porn heavy.
Yeah, because that's what it fucking is. It's just not even
I,
like
I think
the
the reason I don't rate it is it's Chris Fields. It's just porn. So like, why should I rate it as anything but what it is?
What about Chris Field's Persona? Didn't we review that?
We did, and it was dog shit.
Yeah, I think that goes above this.
It does, but like, I also don't count Chris Fields as a writer. I guess I just consider it. Oh yeah, I slapped together my fucking fetishes onto a 3.5 template and exported it. And yeah, no, you're right. I couldn't put it in my top 5 simply because Chris Fields is such a cynical gooner. It's literally just I have a bunch of templates that I crapped out in less than 10 minutes. Here's all my porn fetishes. Buy it for $15, you stupid fuck.
I mean, there's also what's the
It's like
fucking
Thirsty
game we
Swords
did?
Lesbian, but with actual porn. So
Hardwired Island, I would still also say it's worse than this.
Hardwired Island is more insipid and painful. Actually, yeah, it's a worse book because it is painfully boring.
Like this is not painfully bad. This is just bad.
It's repulsive.
It's repulsive. It
It's
makes you go like, "What the fuck were they thinking?" This
how did this
is
get
not.
passed?
How did anyone sign off on this? Like, how
Someone
did
has to
anyone?
someone has to make like a YouTube episode. There isn't there like YouTube like how did this get made?
Yeah,
I
there's
would
this. There's a series
love
like that for movies,
I would
but I would
love to
love to
see
have
a
that.
2-hour long documentary because that's how they do this
There,
nowadays. A
there is
2-hour
online. There is
documentary on
a.
Gypsies.
There is online a like about a 40-minute lecture done by the guy that did the Holocaust book about that book.
That was good,
Uh,
but
it's
I,
very good.
I wonder. I think at the end of this, I'm left wondering why. Why was this made? Why was it done in
I
this way?
Why was it made? I get the feeling this was an attempt to make a. They fucking trademarked it too. That's the thing.
The thing is, I think this was basically like one of their first attempts to make a side splat.
I think this was their attempt to do something like Beast, where it was supposed to thread throughout all.
Also that, but like unlike Beast,
Well, no,
it's
exactly
not a
like
full
Beast.
splat.
It also went full fucking failure.
Oh yeah, but it's not a full splat either. It's like a side splat.
True, it is shorter. It's a side
It's
spit.
not. It doesn't have its own like fucking weird custom shit to it. It does, but doesn't. Right? And you could say that Mummy is actually the first attempt at that because there is.
Mummy's at least a
Uh,
better attempt because you're a fucking mummy.
Well,
There's no
yes and
living
yeah.
no.
culture you're desecrating.
Yes and
Well,
no.
which
It's a
edition of
weird
Mummy?
book,
Because there's like 3 editions of Mummy in Old World of Darkness.
and none of them are that great.
Yeah, I own a copy of the original Mummy the Resurrection book. It's not very good. It's also falling apart. It's made like shit. But the
Well, you have to properly bind it, otherwise it, falls apart.
like a mummy, ayo.
But yeah, repulsive book, garbage, burn it. I did link to where you can get a copy of it in a dumpster for free because remember, it's so. I think we've kind of shown why it got taken off of Drive Through RPG.
Yeah, like of all of the other World of Darkness books, of stuff like fucking Blood Dim Tides and just the fucking Changing Breeds is still up there.
Changing Breeds is still on there, and if you're wondering why Bloodsoaked Tides is
Actually, no,
mentioned,
Changing Breeds has to be in our top 5.
yeah,
Like
it
flat
has to
out.
be. It killed several of our gang members.
We had people on there on our show that never came back after that fucking book.
Yeah,
Uh to be fair, like that book was so fucking bad. Holy
it is
shit.
repulsive. I do want to do at one point. I want to go over like what were the worst books. I'm very curious because I do think it's probably recency bias, but I do think Gypsies would make it on the top 10 just because I personally am enraged at the
I'm not
interpretation.
Yeah, I'm not mad at this book. I'm just
It's
confused.
specifically the
I
death camp. It's that like
yeah,
if they didn't
I
have the death camp, if they didn't have that, I, that's the thing that's getting me. It's the vampire like oh yeah, all of the camp victims got embraced and they broke free, killing and fighting them like that. That is repulsive to
Like
me.
why I mean, they also released a Mafia book around a few years after this. I think that this was like one of those ideas where they had where they
if
were
it would have
trying
been
to
not,
make
at least with the mafia, you could just make the Sopranos.
I think that was the point of that. I think that this though is like I don't know.
Listen to this.
Like I don't know why this was released. I don't know
Well, no,
what
there's a
the
couple things I can think of. The Ravnos have always traditionally been tied to the Romani, even before this. They're trying to experiment with multi crossovers. This is after Chaos Factor, so they're still working on that with a revised. My
yeah, well
thinking
Chaos
is,
Factor at least
my
was
thinking
so
is they're trying to
ridiculous.
blend it, and the problem is they got someone who wrote second edition Vistani.
and
Yeah,
and,
like that's the weirdest crossover. If there was
yeah,
only if I had a nickel for every time that someone in the 90s somebody related to TSR and White Wolf wrote a racist book about the Gypsies, I'd have 2 nickels, which is weird, which isn't much, but it's weird that's happened twice, right? Like what the fuck? It explains a lot knowing that that is the same author. But
So yeah,
it is.
in
Yeah.
conclusion, a
We're gonna.
repulsive book.
Yeah, we're leaving you off with this tale of weirdness and madness
Yeah, next week is our Festivus special. What the fuck is it? Well, we'll have
an
to
area of
gripe about it.
grievances, and then the following week we will be playing live Oy vey,
Oy
a
vey.
actual game released in the 1970s about Jewish American
being a
life.
Jewish mother. and try to get your daughter to marry a doctor or lawyer, or your son to become a doctor or lawyer.
That's gonna be fun.
It's probably actually going to be a lot of fun.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
We will have to. We'll have to see.
Have a great night, everyone. Yeah.
If you want to do something good for the week, look up actual Romani history. I think we all owe it to ourselves to actually know the correct history.
I'm going to make a point in looking into
Look,
that
if you're going to be
linguistic.
racist, at least be racist accurately.
Exactly.